10 o'clock, good morning from the Circus Sports at the Mint Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Lucas Panzica. Breaking news in the world of college football. Texas Tech quarterback Brendan Sorsby has been granted a preliminary injunction against the NCAA by a local court in Lubbock. He is currently eligible for the 2026 season. The injunction says Sorsby will be suspended for the first 2 games of the season after a gambling scandal that saw him step away from Texas Tech earlier this offseason. Sorsby did bet on Indiana football games while a part of the Indiana football roster. But as of right now, he will miss those first 2 games against Abilene Christian and Oregon State, but would be a go for the Big 12 opener against Houston in Week 3. The NBA Finals continue tonight as the series heads to New York for Game 3. The Knicks lead it 2-0 after holding off a Spurs comeback in Game 2 on Friday. Tip-off tonight is at 7:30. Over the weekend, the Golden Knights took a 2-1 series lead in the Stanley Cup Final on Saturday after giving up a 4-0 advantage in the third. The Hurricanes stormed back to force OT, but Vegas got the win with the deflected shot by Shea Theodore in double OT. Mitch Marner also with a hat trick. Game 4 is tomorrow night in Vegas. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
All right, do we think the NCAA has already sent in the appeal? Because what are we doing? Brendan Sorsby, granted a TRO, a temporary injunction, or rather a temporary injunction, not a temporary restraining order against the NCAA, will be eligible to play for Texas Tech in this upcoming season. For now, we got a few months before Texas Tech is scheduled to take the field with Brendan Sorsby, not a quarterback, right? Because he's, according to this thing, going to be suspended for the first couple of games of their season regardless. But how on earth can this move forward in any way, shape, or form? Can we picture a single universe in which Brendan Sorsby starts the vast majority of Texas Tech's games this season? Because I refuse to believe it.
I still refuse to believe that this is something that can go on. The fact that we have reached this stage, though, even for the current state of college sports, is mind-numbingly insane. Insane. So, if you're a college athlete and you're going into this season, why not throw a bet down? Right? When you know what's going to happen.
Wait, recklessly speculate before Lucas gets...
I'm not doing it.
What are the consequences going to be, huh? What are the consequences going to be?
Don't accidentally... This is the first time you have been unhinged.
You're a D lineman for Ole Miss, and you got a buddy you went to high school with, you played with, that plays for Mississippi State, and he let you know, hey, man, I messed up my ankle in practice. I'm not going to be a go. I don't even know if I'm going to be on the availability report, but all right. Hammer Ole Miss over rushing. Let's go. Throw some money on it before we get out there and run it up. I mean, this is ridiculous. No rules.
You're getting support from the F&M Bank Chat, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, where you can interact with the show. You can also call us, 615-737-1045. What does it tell you about the state of college sports that Brendan Sorsby, for now, is eligible to play in the upcoming college football season? Downtown Funky Stuff Malone on YouTube, right?
What's that from? What movie?
I don't know.
Shrek?
No.
What?
Funky Town?
No. The Will Ferrell basketball movie?
He was so quick with it, too. Like, if that was Jeopardy, how fast?
What's the Will Ferrell basketball movie?
Semi-Pro.
Oh,
Downtown Funky Stuff Malone.
Okay.
Y'all just don't watch movies.
I'm sorry. No, Semi-Pro.
Philistine.
I actually watched Semi-Pro not that long ago. That's an egregious miss.
Either way, on YouTube, writes PSA for college athletes, basically saying what Lucas just said. If you know this is your last year playing college ball, bet your asses off. You are basically immune from NCAA punishment for gambling. Okay, let's everybody take a deep breath. Lucas, are you okay? What's going to happen to you? I'm worried about you. You remember having Chris Childers on a couple of years ago, and Chris Childers sounding like outright depressed about the state of college sports, and this was like 4 years ago, right? Our buddy Chris Childers over there at Sirius XM, he's been covering college football. He's done a show with Rick Neuheisel for a long time. Either way, we had him on to talk about, I think, the state of collegiate athletics after the Supreme Court ruling, and he just sounded sad. And after we had the conversation on Friday about Nick Saban going and giving his testimony on the state of collegiate athletics and the way that things are trending, and now the Sorsby temporary injunction, no ruling yet, but a temporary injunction, I'm worried about you as a college sports fan because you don't look well.
I mean, this is just the latest, but it is one of the definitely one of the headlines that stands out the most, that just make you hang your head, man, and just say, what is this shambolic mess? What? Hey, look how they massacred our boy, is the feeling here. I mean, it's just absurd. Absurd. I truly thought, I put faith in the judicial system, even in Lubbock County, saying, guys, we're good. No judge in this country, no matter how hyper-local, wants to be the guy granting eligibility to the guy who had to check himself into rehab because of gambling on his own games.
You know who really be sore, B?
Who?
Tennessee fans. They have every right to be sore about this situation. Because how in the hell did Tennessee end up being the only... Oh, sorry, I have to put on... let me recede into my stage persona. How in the world did a Tennessee judge become the only member of a judicial court in this here United States of America who had any kind of backbone? How was there any other judicial members in Texas, our brothers in Mississippi, who think that their cases were less egregious
Brothers?
than Mr. Joey Aguilar?
Careful, Robert.
Mr. Aguilar, see, the only problem he had was he came to a Tennessee court. Yes, well, we uphold the law in judicial hearings to the utmost degree. And Joey Aguilar, now he's spending training camps with the Jacksonville Jaguars instead of playing in the state of Tennessee. That is the only problem that I see with this here judiciary and judiciously terrible court etiquette. Yes. That is what I have the biggest problem with.
He's right. How did Tennessee get the one local judge with principles, with morals?
No, now, I'm not going to roll over. I'm going to set an example for my fellow judges to the south in Texas. And Mississippi turned our back on us, and that's okay, because I know Texas has got it. Wait, my secretary has given me a call. Yes, ma'am, Miss Martha. There ain't no way. On God's green earth. Okay, I'll let them know. I'm hearing that Texas has befuddled the judicial community. And now Brennan B. Sorsby can now play college football, and the B stands for bet. Sorsby B. Sorby. Betting.
It's okay.
I want to see how long this is going to go.
I could talk like this the whole show if you would let me.
No. You're getting too Cosby.
Give me a time to put together and mull my mint for my mint julep as I sit on my front porch of my judge house in my rocking chair.
You're starting to give a Savannah, Georgia.
Well, yeah, I have been in that area before, yes.
Many
where the Spanish moss hangs from them beautiful oak trees.
Is you is.
Or is you ain't my constituent.
Oh, man. So, yeah, but it's true. It's true. We've got a judge crying on the
Lucas
bench.
would be so much less harsh on this if Tennessee got its way.
I mean, we've got a judge getting emotional on the bench in front of Trinidad Chambliss in Mississippi. We've got a judge having to recuse himself because of his loyalty to his alma mater in Tuscaloosa, granting Charles Bediako eligibility. And we've even got a judge in Lubbock saying, no, yes, you go ahead, son. You go out there and bring home another Big 12 title for our Red Raiders. despite the gambling past in this sport. I mean, just absurd.
You're getting, I think, what is constructive feedback on because you're trying to do an East Tennessee accent.
I'm trying to sound like a debonair Southern-out lawyer.
It's going to be really tough for me to have a conversation with this person the entire show.
Yes'm. Speak your mind. Let it be heard throughout the hills and valleys of Tennessee.
Okay, so maybe we try and apply some Tennessee sensibilities into the accent that you're trying to do. Just to try and give it a little more East Tennessee. Say school.
School.
No.
School.
No. Lucas, say school.
Skoo.
Skoo.
School.
Skoo.
School.
It's one of my favorite things in the world.
I did not enjoy school that much.
All right, see, now I hear
well, you've knocked me off my rocker is the problem.
I hear the conflict. I feel like we're going to have to work our way through this the entire show. I feel like we're going to have to fine-tune your East Tennessee non-corrupt judge that stands for all things righteous and holy in the world of college sports, except for, everybody else, because Brendan Sorsby's playing college football. Maybe.
Karen brings up an excellent point in the F&M Bank chat where it says that Butts' new name should be Belvedere.
That's not a point. That's a statement.
She may approach the stand with her point statement and stand and point at whatever she would like to allege to. And Bibbidi Bobbidi says we're going to have to workshop it. I don't think so.
So Albert Breer points out that the judge in Lubbock County, as part of this injunction, orders that Brendan Sorsby engage in treatment for his gambling addiction and anxiety, since it was cited in his application for the injunction, and that he attend Gamblers Anonymous meetings and serve that 2-game suspension, again, against Abilene Christian and Oregon State.
Oh, good.
Before Big 12 play opens against Houston, which, as of this moment in time, he will be eligible for in week 3. The NCAA said in a statement that they very much oppose this ruling.
Strongly disagree. Undermines and corrupts the integrity of sports. The NCAA wants to talk about corruption. Here's the problem, okay? Is there a portion of the population that just wants to see the NCAA eat it so badly that they are in favor of Brendan Sorsby playing college football?
Maybe, but I don't think that's the majority here.
I'm not saying it's the majority, but is there enough support for Brendan Sorsby? It doesn't matter what public opinion is. It matters how this thing plays out in a court of law.
No, I don't think there is. I think this is the most aligned.
Yeah.
People have been behind the NCAA since this giant mess started, and I suppose the touch point we can use is the Supreme Court ruling telling the NCAA that their entire system is unconstitutional. That is what started this wave of making the NCAA, the NCAA is what started that by their generations of inaction. But that is the touch point that I think it felt like the first domino to start this wave of the NCAA fading into the background. Never more so than this situation here. The NCAA has never looked more powerless than this situation here.
I think two things can be true. The NCAA on this subject, and basically any other subject they try to provide governance on, are hypocrites and have been hypocrites for almost the entirety of their existence. And also it's okay to put that hypocrisy to the side for this specific instance and say, no, kid, I'm sorry, you can't play college football if you've bet on games of a team that you were part of. It just can't happen. And I understand, I don't necessarily disagree with the language in the injunction about him suffering an irreparable injury. It's a lot of money. I don't know what Brendan Sorsby's career earnings are going to be if he makes it to the NFL as a free agent or in the supplemental draft or however it is that his path forward in football continues. I know he's probably got the best opportunity to make the most amount of money right now.
Well, clearly he's a better prospect than Arch Manning, right? I mean, he's on a reported $5 million deal at Texas Tech. I'm
not saying it's a justification. I'm saying, I get it.
And it
it's
doesn't
a lot
matter.
of money.
It's a semantics discussion. But I think Brendan Sorsby stands to make plenty of money in the NFL with his skill set. But yes, there are $5 million on the table.
As soon as he does his first DraftKings or BetMGM endorsement as a quarterback who's been to gambling rehab. Look, it's fine, kids. I turned out okay.
The statement from the
Promo code
NCAA
Sorsby
reads, the NCAA strongly disagrees with the promo code TRO. The statement reads, the NCAA strongly disagrees with the court's ruling in Sorsby's case and is deeply concerned about the damaging, far-reaching, and broadly destabilizing ramifications of this outcome, which undermines and corrupts the integrity of sports. The NCAA is committed to supporting student-athlete mental health, but must continue to aggressively defend against actions that defraud college athletics and threaten competitive integrity, such as betting on one's own sport.
It's really the only rule you can't break.
I agree with every single word of the NCAA statement. I think the vast majority of the college football public does. I can't wait to see where this goes. Remember, Charles Bediako did get a temporary restraining order. So he did not win his preliminary injunction, it must be said. Bediako, the Alabama basketball player. He just got a TRO that was granted by, famously, a Tuscaloosa judge that was a graduate and a donor to the University of Alabama. And then he eventually got a preliminary injunction hearing with a different judge because the aforementioned judge had to recuse himself, and he was denied the preliminary injunction. So I don't really know what recourse there is here. The NCAA is appealing this. But this is not Sorsby just getting a TRO to kick the can before his preliminary injunction hearing. This is Sorsby getting the injunction against the NCAA, just like Trinidad Chambliss got. So I don't know what the next move is other than the NCAA appeal. Not something I would have a lot of confidence in ultimately preventing Sorsby from playing football this year.
It's just such a stupid story. Why is it even a thing? Why are we trying to? I mean, I understand Sorsby's position is because he stands to make a significant amount of money if he plays college football for Texas Tech this year. But there are just so many reasons not to do this. It's so easy for me to sit here today and be like, for the greater good of the sport, maybe let's just not. Maybe let's just put down our sword on this particular situation and say, yeah, you know what? My bad. Hand up, my bad. Action, consequence.
As a reminder,
$5 million.
When he was at Indiana, he was a backup. He was on scout team.
Yeah.
During his time at Indiana, he placed at least 2,900 bets totaling more than $30,000.
Yep.
Which, follow-up question, where was he getting this money? I suppose he could have been making NIL money, but what was he making at Indiana as a backup quarterback pre-Kurt Signetti? Anyway, totaling more than $30,000 from June 2022 through December 2023. His bets included 40 on games involving the Hoosiers, none on games he was involved or had a legitimate chance of playing, according to the documents. But the NCAA alleged that he also placed parlay bets involving Indiana basketball games that included, you'll love this, wagers, quote, in favor of players on the opposing team.
Oh, that's where he made his money then. You wonder where he got his $90K.
That Northwestern basketball player. What do you think he had the over on that night?
Wow, we suck. Let's just bet on the other team. You wonder where he got the $90K from. He's hitting parlays like crazy.
Just betting against Indiana?
God, they suck. That basketball team should be that basketball team should be abolished. Don't let them play in the state of Indiana nor anywhere in the United States of America.
I agree. I'm inclined to agree. They've broken me.
Nowhere else can something like this happen. Nowhere else in American sports can something like this happen. One of the most...
Well, there's nothing as freewheeling as college sports right now. Again, we have almost little to no governance, actual governance, on one of the most important things to protect, which is, and I'm not like, I really don't think I'm pearl clutching here when I say, like, protecting a certain demographic of young people that are very vulnerable and making a ridiculous amount of money and don't really know what to do with it. How could you? What 18, 19, 20-year-old, 21-year-old are going to make just good decisions every time when you put this much money in front of them on college campuses, especially when, they're rock stars, depending on which campus you're on. Like, you're going to have some situations that are cautionary tales. And I think, unfortunately for Brendan Sorsby, he is going to be one of them. Before you make your next point, Lucas, I do want to read this one comment from the chat because It's just one person, but I'm curious about the logic. Jack on YouTube says, Buck, I raise my hand and support Sorsby. Okay, he says, by crushing Sorsby, this is the F&M Bank chat. You can interact with the show, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. You can also call us 615-737-1045. It says, by crushing Sorsby, you kill any hope that others doing it self-report their addiction. There are others. So he went into a gambling addiction treatment facility when this news was getting ready to come out. It is easy to be cynical about the nature of that because on face value, what is the conclusion that people immediately jump to? He knew this was coming. This is a preemptive action advised by his legal team or advised by somebody who says, hey, get ahead of this, put yourself in rehab. It'll look better when we appeal to the NCAA, right? Like that's the most cynical version of that. I don't know if that's true. It sounds like he's got a legit gambling addiction. And I don't want to be dismissive of people seeking help. Gambling addiction is very real. But this is a situation where I don't want to say that it's zero tolerance, but it has to be as close to zero tolerance as humanly possible on this policy because of the can of worms it opens up if you let this thing go. I mean, it would be, I truly think it would be the single most devastating thing to happen to collegiate athletics in the history of collegiate athletics. I think this would be the worst thing happening.
Here's part of the reasoning from Judge Ken Curry in Lubbock County, Texas. Quote, this court finds that Sorsby will suffer a probable, imminent, and irreparable injury without the injunction because he will be unable to participate as a member of Texas Tech University's 2026 football team.
Yeah, money. That's the injury is the loss of potential money that he stands to gain if he plays college football.
Right, but is that will he suffer that because he will not be able to participate as a member of Texas Tech football, or because he gambled on Indiana football as a member of Indiana football?
Look at you. Did you go to law school? Look at you.
No, we need our sports attorney, man.
Look at you. I know. You send me Dan Luss's number. I'll text him here in just a little bit. Dan's guidance would be helpful.
Yeah. The thing that I wonder is, could this be something that spurs momentum, that really turns into a wind at the sails of the Protect College Sports Act? Where something like this, something that truly feels unthinkable.
That's such a pipe dream, though. Like that this is actually going to spur meaningful legislation into place. We're talking cynical.
About antitrust, and it's fair to be cynical with anything regarding, federal oversight or stepping in to.
I don't got a lot of faith in government institutions right now, but if I'm being honest.
That's all we have right now. That's
I know.
it.
I get it.
That's all we have in college sports to prevent things like this from happening. Antitrust exempt
to exist
rules put into place so players can't just sue their way out of whatever regulations there are and do literally whatever they want. That's all we have right now, and it sucks. It sucks to be in a place where all we have is a bill that, two senators put together. But if there's anything that could just have decision makers, leaders saying, okay, you know what, this can't happen. If that's the closest thing we have to making sure something like this doesn't happen, then let's go support the Protect College Sports Act and just use it as a jumping off point, for goodness sake.
I just think so many things can happen between then and the time if they were to actually pass federal legislation on this. I mean, that's years down the road. This is right now. That's why the temporary injunction is so damning. Because as of today, now it's June, right? They don't play a game until end of August. Today he could play college football.
That's crazy.
So my biggest pushback beyond just general cynicism around the federal government is the idea that it would be enacted in any meaningful time period, that we would get any kind of resolution that mattered, other than to go back retroactively and be like, yeah, that Sorsby thing we let happen can't happen today, 10 years later. Nonsense. 615-737-1045. We can take your phone calls on it. Maybe talk a little bit about the NBA Finals, too. I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone.
Ramon Foster, and I'm with Aaron from United Structure Systems. Man, they came by today to check out my house. If there's anything, any issues, small or big, you're gonna fill us in there.
We can take care of it no matter what kind of problems. So first off, we'll just kind of take a look through your house and see what kind of issues you got going. You know, cracks in the brick, cracks in the drywall, weird spots in the floor, doors sticking, windows not opening properly. Once we identify those areas, we're going to do a thorough inspection around the outside, make sure there's no issues going on with that. And then once we look over it, we'll talk about what's going on, and hopefully we ain't got no issues, and then we'll go from there.
Let's go. Let's go.
Mr. Foster, so we have looked at the issues that you brought up. We had the drywall in the attic up here above your bonus or your garage. You had some doors sticking.
I did.
Going in your bathroom. So we've inspected all that. We don't see any major structural concerns. So you're going to be one of our lucky good news customers today. There is some minor deflection there. That's not an uncommon thing. As any house is built, it's its biggest and its strongest the day that it's born. Gotcha. Right? And from that point, it just gets older, just like us. We ain't hopping up out of bed, taking off down the hallway, running downstairs anymore.
Not protecting quarterbacks anymore.
No.
Opening up late. We're done.
Your guard ain't there no more.
Okay,
so.
I got you.
So it just happens. It gets a little older and it starts to deflect. Now, there are some things we can do to kind of help adjust those doors, mainly adjusting in the door, which we don't necessarily do, and maybe doing some light shimming in the crawl space down there to address those sticking doors. But for now, no major issues there. We did talk about the grading in the back and some issues that we can take care of back there for you. But that's pretty much up in a nutshell. No big issues and you're good to go. So.
Awesome. So again, what you deal with United Structural Systems is it's upfront, it's honest, and now I can sleep peacefully at night, okay?
Welcome back to the show. Fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. This is Brendan Sorsby's unofficial theme song. Will it soon be his official theme song? The Texas Tech quarterback granted a temporary injunction. He is temporarily eligible to play college football in 2026 as of today. The NCAA is appealing. And it's the biggest story in sports. Dan Lust, we put up the bat signal. What is the bat signal for Dan Lust? Is it a gavel?
Yeah, that's about right.
I don't know. I kind of think...
I think it's a gavel for Lust. It's a train for Pate.
Did we send out the Pate sign too?
I sent out the Pate signal. What's the sleigh one? A headband?
Well, a headband would be rather indiscernible. I imagine it'd be a basketball.
That's a little too on the nose, don't you think?
Yeah.
Maybe it'd be like...
if Lust's is a gavel...
It could be like a Tennessee
power tee
with a headband.
But how do you tell what's the headband?
Slay can tell.
Okay.
Slay can tell.
He'll know.
I want, if we're going to make Dan Lust also have a light, then his needs to have like the powdered wig
I was
around
just going to say,
the gavel.
well, no, but it's not even a wig. Dan Lust's hair, to me, is iconic. I don't know if he dyes it. Maybe it's a question we ask him. That's how we know if he's really telling us the truth about all things legal.
If I wanted to order one of those powdered wigs to look like a judge, would you pay for it?
Yes. Venmo me.
$19.99. It's on the way.
Okay. 615-737-1045. If you want to call in about the ruination of college sports, you're free to do so. Let's start with Harold in Murfreesboro.
Look, this is Harold again. What makes a person have the right to play football? Shouldn't it be the main thing is he get his life together? So why does the NCAA seem or the judge think that Thorsby has this innate, inalienable right to play football? He gave that up when he bet on football. Didn't he give up the right to play football knowing that he bet on football? I don't care if he has an addiction or whatever. Just because you have an addiction doesn't mean that you're above the rules that are already in place. And secondly, this could be really easily fixed if Texas Tech had some scruples and just decided we're not going to take a guy who broke the rules on our team. So when does the presidents of the university start to stand up and say, you know what, the integrity of the sport is bigger than us winning? So that's my only point. My biggest point is that the presidents of the universities could stop a lot of this if they just decided that the integrity of the game and their university was bigger than winning football games. I'll end right there. And again, great day, great show. And
thank you for the call, Harold. So he's right. I mean, what was incorrect about any of what Harold in Murfreesboro just said there?
Yeah. No, I mean, that's the thing is
there's a lot of people who could stop this from happening.
But we have to count on those people doing so against their own self-interest.
Yep.
That's the place we are now.
And I know it's a charged term, right? There's no putting the stick to sports slogan back in the box. But when you are now talking about the internal politics of collegiate sports, okay, that are now being made external. And what you're talking about is a microcosm for, I don't know, any elected official. You're talking about a university president staring down the biggest money boosters that his institution has, and it's because the football program is competing for the college football playoff. Who do you think's going to win? You're playing chicken with a train, and I'm career chicken with a train. And maybe it's okay if you're okay with laying down on the tracks and giving up your career to do the right thing. You would hope that there would be more people that are willing to do that. Is it unrealistic to ask more people to do that? I don't think so. But I think it's pretty telling that you're not seeing any pushback whatsoever and that Texas Tech is actively fighting to get this player eligible because that's what the people who fund Texas Tech want.
It's the 2 games suspended for me. That's almost a slap in the face. Yeah. I mean, it's
also.
It's
Are
embarrassing.
you playing this World Cup undefeated?
I am
82-0 or
yeah. So this 20-0 game that has made the rounds, where you basically get roles with any specific NFL team from any era. You try to build your team to go 20-0. Apparently, they have it for hockey and for basketball and for international soccer, where you build your perfect World Cup championship winning squad. So, yes.
So you're going to be useless until 11 o'clock when we do the World Cup primer.
I lost in the final.
I'm sorry for you. Will you celebrate like Robert did when he went 20-0?
Perhaps.
So Dan Lust will join us at 12:20 today, and we will understand the full implication. Basically, every conversation with Dan is how did we get here and where do we go? And that's basically what the conversation around Brendan Sorsby is going to be with our friend, the sports attorney, Dan Lust, who will join us in the noon hour today.
So many questions.
A lot of questions. A lot of questions. I'm just disappointed. I'm not even mad anymore. I'm just disappointed. I mean, I will be mad if he's out there on a football field. Carrot Top said his opening game would be against Houston, a Friday night game against Houston.
Yeah, week 3, the Big 12 opener.
Oh, yeah, but then they have Sam Houston the next week. So it's not like he's skating by all the cupcakes on their schedule.
Here's a statement from Texas Tech booster and board chair Cody Campbell.
Oh, good.
Big money figure.
Yep.
At Texas Tech.
What is the net worth of Cody Campbell, I wonder? Let me look it up.
Sure. He says, this unfortunate situation is the outcome of a broken system. I'm doing everything I can to fix it. But until there is a permanent solution, Texas Tech and its student athletes have to do the best they can to navigate and compete amid the chaos that exists in the reality of the world we live in. So blaming the world we live in.
He's like, don't blame me.
For putting a player on the field that has openly talked about betting on his own team. So that's where we are. We are asking people to go against their own self-interest to do what is right. And that is never a good place to be as an organization.
Could you guys provide some clarity for me on this? So Ari Meyer put out a statement from the judge on the Sorsby case, and the tweet reads, the judge's reasoning for granting the injunction to Texas Tech's quarterback Brendan Sorsby, quote, This court finds that Sorsby will suffer a probable, imminent, and irreparable injury, end quote, without the injunction because he is, quote, will be unable to participate as a member of the Texas Tech University 2026 football team, end quote. Is he alleging that he is going to hurt himself if he is not able to play? Like, what does that mean?
Legal terminology. So an injury, just something that you suffer as a result of the legal situation.
Yeah, not a literal
Not
injury.
a literal injury.
Well,
So
they should say another word. They should say financial injury, or
especially when we get into the sports world.
He will suffer a probable, imminent, and irreparable injury.
What is he going to do? Cut his own Achilles?
That's what I'm saying.
Sports fans, what do you mean?
He's cutting long ways and not short ways. Like, what do you mean? Like that to a layman sounds like he is going to hurt himself. So let's let him play football.
The injury is the $5 million that he would not stand to make should he not play college football for Texas Tech.
Well, it sounds like he's got a future career in gambling, so they should just let him take a piece of that money and ride it on slots.
Cody Campbell's last business deal sold his Double Eagle Energy, a collection of oil and gas and energy companies, for $6.4 billion in 2021.
Is that not an Always Sunny bit? Double Eagle Energy? Or don't they? Is it Eagle Milk? What do they sell?
Oh, Crow Milk.
Crow Milk. That's what it is.
Buy bodyguards for bodyguards.
But that's the thing. Like, Cody Campbell's argument is somebody said in the chat, don't hate the player, hate the game.
Sure.
He's not wrong. It's just, it's not an argument as to whether you can. It's should you do this thing? You can do this thing. Should you do this thing? The answer to that question is no. But Texas Tech and the money behind Texas Tech are more interested in the college football championship, or at least a college football playoff appearance, with with Brendan Sorsby giving them their best opportunity.
What a joke,
to do just
man.
that. Yeah.
What a joke this all is.
We've got camp holdouts in the NFL. We'll talk about it next.
The guaranteed offer is the simplest, least stressful way to sell your home. You go to our website, you fill out a quick form, we set an appointment, we bring you an all-cash offer. Literally, there's no lockbox on the front of your house, there's no showings, we pay all cash, we close in as little as 21 days, stress-free. We've helped thousands of homeowners just like you sell your home the hassle-free way with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate.
This is a different court, Blair.
Same result, Slay.
Oh, okay, Blair. See, that's Tyler Tanner. See, Tyler Tanner's in the house now.
Let's see what you got. Jerry's out, Blair.
Blair, come on. Okay, Blair, just come sit down. Come on, Blair, stop. You're going to get hurt. Blair, get off the court. That's enough.
What's the verdict, Blair?
The courtroom is where I play ball.
Boy, Durham, injury law. And that ain't got no rules.
We're going to get some legal insights from Dan Lust at 12:20 on the Brendan Sorsby News. It's the biggest story in sports. Texas Tech quarterback being granted a temporary injunction after his legal situation, his admitting to gambling on games as a part of the Indiana football team in 2022, where he was a redshirt at the time, went on to play at Cincinnati, transferred to Texas Tech with the intention to play for them for about $5 million reportedly, and trying to keep their college football playoff hopes alive. Goes into a gambling addiction treatment facility. Then all this news comes out about his lengthy history of gambling, not just on games that he was on a team for, not playing in, or that he had a chance to play in, but still the principle of the matter, betting on balls and strikes, reportedly, betting on a number of different things in sports across the board, fading Indiana basketball, which is just great. Just perfect. So, a number of people doing great reporting on this. Pete Thamel is on the forefront of the reporting around this. We've got some additional reactions from around the world of sports and from the world of law, because people are equally shocked on both sides of this. But I was texting my co-host, Jason Fitz, for the national show on Fox, and our producer, Ian. And Ian was basically saying, Robert basically sent me a word-for-word text similar to you about what injury means, in the sense of what the temporary injunction is citing here, that Brendan Sorsby stands to suffer an irreparable injury specific to his finances. And Ian said, what does this even mean? So Fitzy works with Ross Dellinger at Yahoo, and said he talked to Dellinger and said the NCAA will appeal, which we all know, but that Dellinger adds the appeal success rate is incredibly low.
I don't know what the course of action is to reverse this here. I mean, I hopefully Dan can walk us through whatever the next steps would be, what scenarios exist that Brendan Sorsby could not play football. And I almost hate it turning into, desperately trying to cling to whatever we can. Like, all right, what else could happen? How can Brendan Sorsby not play football this year? Because I hope the best for Brendan Sorsby.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's just about the state of the sport.
Yep.
And Cody Campbell hiding behind the disarray and the chaos we live in college football and saying this is the outcome of that. Like, yeah, it is, but, I think Texas Tech people hiding behind that is an absolute joke.
You don't have to push it forward. Reaction from lawyer, this is Pete Thamel, about 20 minutes ago. He tweets a reaction from Tom Mars. You heard that name before?
Oh, yeah. Tom Mars, the most famous attorney in college sports.
Veteran of NCAA cases. Quote, in 40 years as a lawyer, I've never been as shocked and surprised by a court ruling. That sums the reaction on the college sports landscape today. So even the lawyers are saying, buddy, I don't know.
If I'm going to try to find a silver lining, can this be rock bottom? Can this be the thing?
No, I mean, rock bottom is if he plays. If he plays, it's rock bottom.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, can this situation, a player that has admittedly gambled reportedly thousands of dollars on his own football team and athletic department when he was at Indiana, can a player that did all of those things and still participate in college football, can that be rock bottom for us? Can it be nothing but up from there?
No, I don't think so. I think it just opens up a whole new slew of court cases on guys who are trying to maintain eligibility. And maybe they lose, right? Maybe whatever can of worms doesn't go in favor, but it's just going to prolong the situation, right? It's just going to drag these things out. It's going to bring up new instances of guys trying to regain eligibility for whatever reasons that they've lost them, if it's anywhere adjacent to this Brendan Sorsby situation. You are going to have every attorney under the sun trying to find ways to poke holes in a situation like this for the sake of a multi-million-dollar payday because you helped Texas Tech get their quarterback eligible. I mean, it's blood. It becomes a blood in the water situation. And like I said, maybe some of the institutions that are in place withstand that. But so far, I don't know how you feel about the institutions continuing to withstand the waves upon waves of just corrupt nonsense that are washing over it at every turn.
No, that's where we are. It's completely and utterly broken. All of this. It's completely broken. It's broken. It's unsustainable. It's fun. We still watch on Saturdays. The environments have not gone down. The ratings have not gone down. But it doesn't mean that there doesn't need to be serious, fundamental change, something, anything. And if it means having to, sit there and stay up to date with the Protect College Sports Act and the support that it's getting and the chances of that getting pushed through just so we have something, anything, then that's what it means. But it just can't go on like this.
It's just a headache.
It just can't. I'm
thinking about it.
I don't care how much we assume about college sports fans and how much we're going to keep watching and all the assumptions and the things we take for granted. I don't care. It just can't go on like this.
JC is in Franklin up next. If you want to call, 615-737-1045.
Hey, what's going on? Some perspective I might give is this. Oftentimes, I wonder if the court is unaware of what standard by which the NCAA made its ruling. So what courts will often do is place people in the position they were in before the action that was brought by the NCAA happened, so that no one is harmed until the final decision is made.
Right.
And courts do that often, and I think that's what the court is probably doing here. We're going to place you in a position that both of you were prior to the findings or the conclusion of the action, whatever that action is. But then I also wonder, and this is my last point, what is the standard of proof that the NCAA goes off of to determine that Sorsby gambled and violated NCAA rules and thus he can't play? So I wonder what that standard of proof is, but that's maybe that's where the court's coming from there.
Thank you for the call. I mean, yeah, I think that's understood by nature of it being a temporary, like literal in name, temporary injunction, that they're just kind of putting the thing on ice until we can have more concrete legal conversations.
Yeah, putting it on ice long enough for him to play in 2026.
Theoretically.
I don't think there's any denial whatsoever.
That's what the caller's saying. It's just like, yeah, it's just things are going to go back to the way that they were until we have more legal standing.
Yeah, and there's no denial from the court saying that there's no proof that this happened, right? I mean,
well, no, he came forward.
Yeah.
Nobody knew, I mean, publicly. I'm sure people at Cincinnati or Indiana or somebody knew, but nobody, the general public did not know until Brendan Sorsby entered a gambling addiction treatment center. So, like, by nature of seeking treatment for the gambling addiction, one would have to imagine that you would have a gambling addiction.
No, the court is completely acknowledging that all of that happened.
Yeah.
Like, there's not an inkling of, there's not even a suggestion that, hey, we don't know if he did these things.
So, like, they don't have to prove that he gambled. He's saying, I gambled.
Yeah.
Hand up.
And it had to be, for it to result in him stepping away from the program to check himself into a rehab facility rather than there be an investigation and a probe, maybe something fishy pops up in the gambling market that the NCAA bears down on.
I mean, what was the reported figure, the total figure that he's wagered? It's almost $100,000, right?
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, the problem had to be so dire for Sorsby personally that we learned from Brendan Sorsby that he had these issues.
Yeah.
Not a probe into Brendan Sorsby. This was not Brendan Sorsby and people trying to sweep it under the rug for the 2026 season. He checked himself into that rehab facility knowing the bleep storm it would create and the difficult path it would create for him to get back to playing for Texas Tech this year. That's how bad of a problem it was for him personally. But it's just a matter of principle that we're talking about here, that it's just something that it just can't happen. And here it is.
You want to talk some World Cup?
Let's do it.
It's this week. How many days?
4.
World Cup primer next. Nothing worse than a plumbing, electrical, or HVAC emergency. A lot of times you don't know what it will cost or if it will get fixed correctly or if someone is just trying to upsell you on something that you may not fully understand. That's where Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical comes to save the day because they are going to solve your problems quickly. The price you're told is the price you'll actually pay. There's no hidden fees or surprises when you get your bill. Hiller has been in business for over 35 years, and they're family-owned and operated. Their techs are professional, experienced, and trustworthy. When they're on their way, you'll receive a photo of the tech and a link to track them in real time so you don't waste your time waiting around. 100% satisfaction guaranteed of happy you'll be or the service is free. That's the Happy Hiller promise. So book online with ease today at happyhiller.com.
It is 11:02. Good morning from the Circus Sports at the Mint Kentucky Downs 104.5 The Zone studio. I'm Lucas Panzica. Breaking college football news this morning. Texas Tech quarterback Brendan Sorsby has been granted a temporary injunction against the NCAA. He will be eligible to play for Texas Tech in 2026. Sorsby had been ruled ineligible by the NCAA earlier this year after acknowledging that he gambled on sports, including his own team, while a part of the Indiana football roster. The injunction says that Sorsby will be suspended for the first 2 games of the season against Abilene Christian and Oregon State. He would be a go for the Big 12 opener against Houston in Week 3. The NBA Finals continued tonight as the series heads to New York for Game 3. The Knicks lead it 2-0 after holding off a Spurs comeback in Game 2 on Friday. Tip-off tonight is at 7:30. Over the weekend, the Golden Knights took a 2-1 series lead in the Stanley Cup Final on Saturday after giving up a 4-0 advantage in the third. The Hurricanes stormed back, forcing overtime, but Vegas got the win with a deflected shot by Shea Theodore in double OT. Game 4 is tomorrow night in Vegas. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Second hour is upon us. We'll swing back around to the Brendan Sorsby discussion a little later on in the show. Dan Lust, sports attorney, will join us, and we'll ask him what the hell first, and then what now? As is usually the case with these legal discussions around the world of sports. Although I'd just be genuinely curious to know whether Dan is also surprised, because the lawyers out there also seem to be as surprised as all of us in the world of sports that this kid got a temporary injunction given the circumstances.
Yeah. I'm so tired of talking about just blatantly corrupt and greedy organizations. So let's wipe the slate clean here. What do we have? Oh, FIFA. Good.
Can you find that Sepp Blatter sound where he's talking about being the president of everybody? It's one of my favorite press conferences.
Who?
Sepp Blatter.
The former president of FIFA.
No, the former president of everybody. SEPP Blatter.
Yeah, it's pretty. You can find it on YouTube. It's pretty.
It's what I just want to listen to it because I feel like Lucas is going to give us a World Cup primer. We're 4 days away and he's giddy. All right. I haven't seen him smile this much since Tennessee beat Alabama or since Tennessee in baseball won a national championship. Okay. So the World Cup is coming to the United States for the first time since 1994. Is that correct? And it's going to be a huge deal. I don't know that we are ready. I look at all of these different nations arriving upon our shores in a time where the United States is not making it necessarily a lot of fun to arrive on our shores. And I'm delighted by the Spanish national team pulling up in charter buses
in
to
downtown
Chattanooga, Tennessee. I'm delighted by it. I'm delighted by a group of Koreans who are playing drinking games in Jalisco, Mexico, and just completely befuddling the Mexican crowd around them. I love it. I love the culture assimilation. I love the clash of it. It's going to be beautiful. I wish that we were a host city. I am also kind of glad that we are not a host city because I'm going to be content to watch it from afar.
Oh, it would be insane.
It would be insane, especially on the heels of CMA Fest. The locals need to come up for oxygen.
We need a break. It's fair.
We need just a brief pause in the festivities. So
before we get into just the basic bullet points of who to know with this tournament, I am so fascinated at the U.S. as a host. We've seen Mexico host World Cups. They've hosted some of the most iconic World Cups in history. We've never seen Canada as a host nation. We obviously have seen the U.S. from 1994, which was a smash success, by the way. 1994, the most attended World Cup in the history of the competition. We got a lot of big stadiums here. But the World Cup is routinely, every 4 years, just shines a spotlight on a specific part of the world, a specific culture. Like in 2010, it was a beautiful showing of just the vibrant South African and African as a whole culture as the world all came together during the 2010 World Cup in South Africa. Even the Qatar World Cup, for all of its issues and human rights and corruption issues, it did shine a spotlight on the Middle East and Middle Eastern culture that had not been done before in the World Cup.
For reasons of human rights violations.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
It must be said.
Give a little, take a little,
But
That's what the Saudis are banking on.
I'm fascinated at what people come away with the United States 2026. What will soccer fans around the country come away thinking of? Because people came away from the 2010 World Cup in South Africa just thinking about, it was awesome. Like the vibes were just immaculate. 2014
that was
Brazil.
Vuvuzelas,
yeah,
South
those are
Africa.
the Vuvuzela, Waka Waka, like the whole thing.
I think that's the first World Cup I viscerally remember.
For a lot of people, it's from a U.S. men's national team perspective, that World Cup made them fall in love with the sport, made them fall in love with the U.S. men's national team. That was the Landon Donovan goal against Algeria to get the U.S. out of the group stage, one of the most iconic goals in U.S. history. There is a German influencer, at FreddyLA7 is his Twitter handle, and he is chronicling his visit to the United States.
Oh, God.
Posting pictures of him at Walmart, of him at Waffle House. There's a video of him driving through Gainesville. I mean, he's driving all up and down the coast.
Culture.
Yes. Just passing through a town called Gainesville, and this place looks beautiful. These houses are insane. Wow. And it looks like it's the fraternity houses at the University of Florida. Let's see. Just had our first Waffle House experience at 1 a.m. Great food, great prices, and friendly staff. 10 out of 10. We'll be coming back.
Oh, they didn't get a fight?
Didn't get a Waffle House fight. Did not get a fight. But got rave reviews at Waffle House. They are driving through Atlanta. Oh, it's beautiful. It looks like a forest. There's so much greenery. Oh, they did Taco Bell. So I just can't wait to see just the United States on full display for a lot of these people. And the Spanish national team in Chattanooga is a wonderful example of that.
So, before we can talk about all these wonderful things, we first have to remember our roots. FIFA. Who is, I don't know, the scourge of the sports world at this point in time. One of the most profitable and one of the, not even one, the most corrupt sports entity that we have going internationally. Now, Gianni Infantino has been the president of FIFA for how long?
Oh, how long has it been since he stepped in there? It's been a decade at least.
Yeah.
Exactly a decade, 2016.
Okay, perfect. Because the last time Sepp Blatter won re-election for a fifth term as president of FIFA, it was 2015, and gave one of my favorite press conferences of all time. A press conference in which he started out by calling, do you remember what he referred to Oceania's delegates as?
Oh, yes. This is infamous.
Called them Ocean's 11.
Ocean's 11, yes.
Well, I didn't pull that full thing because the full clip was 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But what you're looking for is off the rip.
Yep. I look forward to that here in just a second. There were other things. It is almost, to me, worth playing the 5 minutes because on trying to show some humility, quote, I like you. I like my job. I like to be with you. I'm not perfect.
Please, let's not play 5 minutes of Sepp Blatter. I'm good on that. Has nothing to do with anything.
Delight me. Anyway, let's hear from the way that FIFA thinks about themselves, at the very least, as best articulated by Sepp Blatter.
I have been elected by 133 national associations, but I am the president of everybody. And I'm also the president of those associations. They have been against me. It's very easy. You have seen the results of the Congress yesterday. The Congress, they are of the opinion that I am still the man to go into these problems and to solve these problems. If somebody are making investigations, they have all the right to do so. And if they do it the correct manner, and if they do it as it is usually in international right done, I have no concerns about that, and I have especially no concerns about my person.
Have you had any direct contact or contact at all with either the Swiss or the US authorities who are conducting these two criminal investigations? And if not, are you concerned at some stage you might be arrested?
Listen, the question number one, no. Question number two, arrested for what?
We'll walk down memory lane.
Oh, Sepp Blatter. I'm the president of everybody, even those who were against me.
I mean, like in theory, he is saying I represent everybody, but it is a great quote. The villainous accent.
I think I know what he meant. So let's have a little World Cup preview, shall we?
Okay. If I ask you the teams that you think feasibly can win the World Cup, who are the teams that come to mind?
Spain.
Absolutely. The favorite, if I'm not mistaken.
Can I say England? Because I think they have a chance, even though famously they choke.
I operate under the death taxes and England choking at a World Cup premise. But yes, they absolutely have the squad, the quality, as they do very often at a World Cup, to lift the trophy for the first time since '66.
Unless the temperature is above 75 degrees, apparently, because the English reportedly are struggling very much with the Florida humidity.
It's a big factor. It's a bit, and more often than not, when a World Cup is in the Americas, a South American team often lifts the trophy. More often than not, when it's in Europe, a European team lifts the trophy. A lot of teams have struggles with the heat in the U.S. And England, who is based in Kansas City, it's absolutely going to be a talking point. If it gets over 80 degrees to them, that is like inhumane levels of heat.
So, just to keep it with the host country or host region theme, I got to think Mexico.
I would not label Mexico as a contender to win the World Cup, no.
Okay. What about your beloved Brazil?
Brazil is a contender to win the World Cup. Yes, there is heavy pressure. It's been 24 years, which for Brazil is almost an eternity for a nation that's won 5 World Cups.
Who am I missing?
So for me, the teams that can feasibly win this thing are France, Spain, England, Brazil, Argentina, and Portugal. Germany is a team you could probably throw in there, but they're coming off back-to-back World Cups where they were bounced from the group stage, which has never happened in the history of the German national team in back-to-back World Cups. So I have a hard time seeing such a bounce-back improvement to the point where they're in a final, but the quality of the squad cannot be denied. So there's sort of categories. Teams that can feasibly win it, which I believe are the ones I just listed. Teams that can make a deep run. When I say deep run, I mean semifinals. And then everybody else. And everybody else's standards for success are different. For the U.S., I think the majority of U.S. fans, media, former players, the majority opinion I have seen is for this World Cup on the field to be considered a success for the U.S., a quarterfinal appearance has to happen. It has not been the case for the U.S. since 2002. We have not made a quarterfinal since then. We've not won a knockout round game since 2002. This is an expanded World Cup. It goes from 32 teams to 48 teams. So it used to be after the group stage, you go straight into the round of 16. Now after the group stage, you go straight into the round of 32. So to make a quarterfinal, you would have to win not 1 but 2 knockout round games. Context is everything. You could put a black and white barometer and say, if you don't meet this, you have failed. For me, I need this U.S. team to create some moments that we remember this team for. Some of the best moments in U.S. soccer history were not against the Germanys and Argentinas of the world. I mentioned Donovan's goal against Algeria. Moments like that, a late winner in the group stage to clinch advancing into the knockout round, something. Christian Pulisic to truly have a signature moment to rally the nation behind this team, I think is critically important, just as important as getting to a quarterfinal. But I think the U.S., Mexico, and Canada are all in a similar pot as the hosts, the 3 host nations, that they feel good about their chances to make a run potentially to a quarterfinal.
He asked us if we were going to go to the watch parties with him, Robert. We didn't answer him.
I didn't say I wasn't going.
No, in fact, you took quite an aggressive tone with him. You said that you weren't going to get interested in the World Cup no matter what. When we were talking about people who may not even know that they're interested in the World Cup just yet and have to let this thing wash over them for a couple of days since we're about to be just drowning in 5 weeks of soccer, international soccer, all over the place in this country.
Would you rather have 2024 Baker Mayfield or 2021 Tom Brady?
He got in my ear during that World Cup preview and said, just got another 20-0. I said, oops, I meant to say that to Lucas.
Or Mike Evans. 1,200 yards, 13 touchdowns.
So this is the one thing that you're not even going to pretend to be interested in for his sake. Because sometimes you try, and it's very sweet, and it's a nice gesture of friendship, the way that you try to care about Lucas and his soccer things.
Who is the Lamar Jackson of the World Cup?
Oh, man. I mean,
fun, exciting, maybe got robbed of an MVP.
Okay. I'll give you one.
Okay.
Fun, exciting player, one of the best players on the planet.
Okay.
Unquestionably.
Okay.
Has not, quote unquote, won the big one and has come up.
All right.
Has come up short in that regard, but everybody is looking to him to pull his team to that mountaintop. I would submit the player that's on the back of the Brazil jersey I gave you last summer, Vinicius Jr. of Real Madrid.
Well, okay, how do you spell that?
Vini.
Oh, it already came up. Hold
there
on.
you go.
Oh, I like this guy.
Vinny Jr. of Real Madrid. One of the best players on the planet. Real Madrid winger, was purchased for 45 million euros from Brazil when he was 16 years old. Just a kid with braces.
I feel like they should change the word.
Yeah, they should probably call it something
like
else.
Traded or
it's always been that, though.
Acquired.
That's not what it is. It's a transfer market.
When you talk about purchasing 16-year-olds.
It's just
that's the business.
Surprised Epstein wasn't really into the World Cup.
That's how it always has been and how it always will be. Clubs purchase players. That's just what it is.
Too old, 16.
Vinicius, who has proved himself on the world stage at the club level.
The jersey I have?
Yes. Oh, my fault. Yes, you do have the Vinicius jersey. Robert has the Ronaldinho jersey. And the reason
I got baby Ronaldo.
You got one of the best players to ever touch a soccer.
Yeah, but he's not the Lamar of Brazil.
That's me.
No.
Now this is going to have a reverse effect on Robert. Yeah. But the reason why I got you a Ronaldinho jersey and Buck the Vinicius jersey
I remember
is because
this being insulting.
Ronaldinho is one of the greatest talents to ever do it. He has won a World Cup. He won in 2002 with one of the greatest World Cup squads the sport has ever seen. Vinicius, while his talent is undeniable, he's one of the best players on the planet, is part of the younger, more disappointing generation of Brazilian stars that have yet to win a World Cup. And it really doesn't matter what you do at club level. You cannot truly, in my mind, be considered an icon by all in Brazil until you help your nation win a World Cup. Neymar is one of the more polarizing figures in the entire country. He's the all-time lead scorer of the Brazilian national team.
So he's like Dan Marino.
Yes.
Or Carmelo, maybe? He's got a bunch of Olympics.
Did Carmelo never get one when he was like buddy hopping with LeBron?
Mm-mm.
Not even he wasn't on the bubble 2020 team?
No, I don't think so.
Maybe he was on the Blazers at that point.
I don't think Melo has a ring.
No, I think you're right. Do you know that he is the most decorated Olympian?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like he has the Olympic cause going
that's
for
his
him.
thing.
He'll
Olympics
definitely
are his
be
thing.
in because the Basketball Hall of Fame is not like the NBA Hall of Fame.
Right.
It is the college
Olympic.
the whole thing put together.
Mm-hmm.
So it says here, considered one of the best players in the world, he is known for his pace, technique, and dribbling ability. He's only 25 years old.
Yeah.
But he plays for Real Madrid, right?
At club level, yeah.
This is so confusing. So why do they let him go play with Brazil? Why aren't they like, no, you got to play for Spain, dude. We're not letting you go.
Because he's not Spanish.
What? Oh, that's where they draw the rules. You can buy 16-year-olds, but you can't say, nope, you can't leave. We pay you money, but you're allowed to go back to your country and get hurt playing this thing, except for us.
So, hold on.
Before you respond, the look of just offense on Lucas's face.
No. I'm just trying to understand.
Are you telling me that, so because Victor Wembanyama plays in San Antonio, he has to represent the U.S. at the Olympics?
They should. They should be able to be like, no, you're not allowed to go. But the Olympics are like, cool.
No,
like you get medals for that. Like, what do you get for this?
You write your name into history of the most popular sporting event on planet Earth.
That sounds a whole lot like come and work for this radio station and we'll give you a lot of exposure. Well, this seems like an exposure debate. This doesn't seem, we could pay you a lot of money, but think about all the people that'll get to hear you and see you, and you'll get to represent your country. That sounds like a sham.
Is that why you're still here?
Yes. Yes, exposure.
Here's why this event is so special to me. Because there's not another sporting event on planet Earth where you can see players almost physically and certainly mentally carry the weight of an entire nation to this extreme. Yes, we have the Olympics. And of course, we all rally around the Olympics. Every 4 years was summer and winter. The Winter Olympics were electric. But in terms of the eyeballs of your entire nation and the entire planet on one thing, everything kind of pales in comparison, just in pure volume, to the World Cup. And the pressure that you feel for a Vinicius Jr. as a young Brazilian player that, yes, you are a star. You are one of the most famous players on the planet, but you have yet to do it for your national team. It leaves your legacy incomplete in Brazil. And that's everything for these players that grew up idolizing the Neymars and Ronaldos and Ronaldinhos of the world.
What about Erling Haaland? Is that how you say his name?
Erling Haaland, the Norwegian, the Norwegian center forward, one of the best goal scorers in the world. He is the one that you and I were watching that World Cup commercial.
Oh, so he's okay.
He's a Viking, basically. Yes.
So I'm kind of split on whether I think he's handsome or just intriguing. Like he has a very odd build. Like he looks very. I don't know how to describe him. Like if you ever saw like an all-white squirrel in your front yard, you're like, wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, he's a monster, and he's one of the main reasons I think Norway is a team that could make a dark horse run to the semifinals.
Wait, it says he was born in the UK, though. Why does he not want to play for England?
He was born in the UK because his father, who also was, his father, Alfie Haaland, was playing for Leeds United at the time in the Premier League.
How do you keep up with all this lore? How do you know all of these things?
I mean, I don't know. Just accumulation, I suppose. I mean, buddy, we could say the same thing. Like, how do you know the left guard of the Bengals? I think we could say all of these things.
Okay.
I think one is significantly less cool than the other.
Okay, wait. But can I like both Viscus Jr. and Erling Haaland, or are they a conflict of interest?
No, you can't. I'm already
Viscus.
Jr.
You are viscous enough for
Vinicius.
all of us.
Yeah.
Vinicius.
So, I mean, if you are born in a country, but to parents from another country, you're eligible to play for that country. If you are a citizen of multiple countries, it all depends on what the best fit is going to be for you, what you most associate with. But if you play in one competition with that country, it's called cup tied. That's it. You have to play for that country. You can't bounce around.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there are players that have options. There are players that, like Erling Haaland, who was born in England to a father that was Norwegian, but was playing in England at the time, so they were living in England. But that doesn't make him English. He's a Norwegian player, and he's going to be one of the biggest stars at this competition for a Norway squad that has not been to a World Cup in a long time.
Did you pick a country to root for yet?
No, I'm trying to figure that out. Do they have a chance? Does Norway have a chance, or are they like...
I don't think Norway can lift the trophy. I think they're a team that can make a run to the semifinal. You will be rooting for the U.S. men's national team, Robert. That is who you will be rooting for.
I don't like that you're telling me what I'm going to do. I don't like that you're telling me I have to.
Tone.
Oh, so you have to root for you can't root for the USA at all then.
I'm rooting for Egypt.
Oh, by the way, Brazil played Egypt in a friendly over the weekend.
Did you know?
How do we do?
2-1 Brazil. There's a good showing.
I learned.
U.S. lost to Germany, right?
Yes, but a lot of encouraging things about that performance.
Yes.
Somebody in the chat wants me to ask about Saka.
Next. It's 25.
Oh, no. Okay. Bye.
The Tennessee Men's Clinic is here to help you if you feel like your performance has suffered at all. And that happens a lot to guys as they get up there in age, as your body starts to change. It's natural, but it doesn't have to be inevitable. And the Tennessee Men's Clinic, powered by Men's Pro, is here to help you through that process. What you'll like about them is that they've been doing this for years. They're not just the newest fly-by-night place or sketchy online pill. You're working with true medical providers. They run labs, build a plan around you, and it's not some one-size-fits-all type of deal, not some cookie-cutter treatment situation. They treat low performance, ED, weight loss, and even peptides like NAD+. Their treatments have worked for thousands of men, and most guys say they wish they would have come in sooner. Right now, your lab panel and consultation are just $99, so call them today at 615-208-9090. That's 615-208-9090 or online at TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Oh, no. Two Rivers Ford is the South's most trusted Ford dealer. They've been in business for over 4 decades, and they literally win awards for their levels of customer service. They go above and beyond to make the car buying process fast, easy, and more fun. I'm a Two Rivers Ford customer. Ramon Foster, Dawn Davenport, my sister, actually just got her first new vehicle at Two Rivers Ford. It's like having a family at Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet. They go and make sure that you get the best price for your family's budget and for your family's needs. They're not trying to upsell you on any kind of a vehicle because their sales staff does not work on commission, which means you feel no pressure as a part of the car buying process. Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet, just 7 miles east of Nashville International Airport, or online at tworiversford.com. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. We're in the midst of our World Cup preview. Thursday is when things get underway. Robert, the chat had asked you to ask Lucas as we basically do World Cup for Dummies, courtesy of Lucas and his expertise here. So what was the question that the chat wanted you to ask?
I believe they wanted me to ask about soccer, but I was confused because I thought we were talking about Saka the entire time.
Yes, so that would be in reference to Bukayo Saka, S-A-K-A, the English winger, part of the Arsenal Premier League title-winning squad this past season, and he will be a part of an English team that's looking, talk about a team with pressure on their shoulders. England goes into every World Cup with loads of pressure. It's coming home. You see the hype every single time, and they seem to fall out in extraordinarily embarrassing fashion. A lot of times in penalty kicks every single tournament. But Bukayo Saka, a member of the British national team.
All right. So success for the United States in the World Cup is what?
Quarterfinal. There has to be some sort of run here to get into the final 8, essentially, of this World Cup on home soil. And again, context is everything. If you fall short of that by losing to, let's say, Germany in 120 minutes plus penalty shootout in the round of 16, then that can be viewed differently. But this team simply, it's not good enough to get out of the group. That has felt like the barometer for the U.S. in the last few World Cups. It's past time for this team to really make their mark. This version of the U.S. with Christian Pulisic and Weston McKennie and Serginho Dest, for them to make their mark and to live up to this billing that they've had as the most talented generation of U.S. men's national team players.
I've been trying to just educate myself on the World Cup because I'm parachuting in here in ignorance about 4 days before.
And you'll be in Spain?
I'll be in Spain and Germany.
Good portion of it? Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
Yeah. So I'm going to be able to catch at least one game for both countries at some point. I heard that Greg Berhalter's kid is on this roster.
Sebastian Berhalter is on this roster.
Isn't Gio Reyna? Or not?
Gio Reyna is also on this roster.
Gio Reyna
yes,
is on this roster.
He
so
is.
For people who may have forgotten the controversy between Greg Berhalter, the former U.S. men's coach, and Claudio Reyna, the father of Gio Reyna.
Former teammate of Greg's and best friend.
Remind people why that's kind of weird to hear, the idea that Gio Reyna and Sebastian Berhalter is what you said?
Yeah. So, I mean, the condensed version of it, Greg Berhalter, former coach of the U.S. men's national team. Gio Reyna is a member of the U.S. men's national team. He is one of the more talented players we have. He has not played well as of late, but he is absolutely a player that can change a game at any time. But he was a young player when he was with the U.S. at the Qatar World Cup in 2022. Greg, the Berhalters in general, and the Reynas are very close because Greg played with Gio's father, Claudio Reyna, for the U.S. men's national team. They were very close. Their wives were very close. Best friends is kind of how it was all labeled. And until the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, where there were issues with Gio Reyna. He wasn't getting the playing time that he wanted. Gio was young, probably immature at that point. I mean, he's 23 now. So think about that 4 years ago. And there were reports about a team meeting that the U.S. had to decide, Berhalter meeting with leaders, with members of the team, to decide whether or not they wanted to send a player home for his attitude and kind of the way he was weighing down the group a little bit. That player did turn out to be Gio Reyna. The Reynas, his parents, did not love that. They went to the U.S. Soccer Federation, and they revealed a story to the U.S. Soccer Federation about an incident that happened with Greg Berhalter and his wife back in the early 90s.
Domestic incident.
Yes. It was at a bar where things got like a little physical, kind of an ugly situation that the Reynas were wary of because, again, they had been very close friends, the two couples, for decades. This definitely drove a wedge between them. It was a huge story, a big scandal for U.S. soccer, big mess. Greg Berhalter ultimately let go as the manager of the U.S. men's national team.
But not for that, right? Like, he lasted a little while longer.
Yeah, he lasted after the World Cup. Then his contract ran out, which is when B.J. Callahan took over as the interim of the U.S. men's national team. They rehired Greg Berhalter instead of just letting the contract run out and getting a new coach. They brought him back. Things went very poorly from there, and he was let go in 2024. But Gio Reyna, who now is just 23 years old, is still very much a part of things, and so is Greg's son, Sebastian, who has had a burgeoning career with Vancouver Whitecaps, and he is a midfielder for this team. And he's played well, and I think he's going to feature. I think he's, I think he's really favored by Mauricio Pochettino, the current manager. And there aren't any issues. There don't seem to be any issues, but it is a dynamic that you want. Like if you're a U.S. player and you walk into the training room and they're, getting worked on or warming up or whatever, and it's just Gio and Seb, are you like, hey guys, everything good? Like, I don't know. But I think it is something that's been put behind everybody as the focus is on this moment in American soccer, which is obviously massive.
It would be big of them to put that behind.
Sure.
behind themselves. That's a very awkward situation.
Yeah, very awkward situation.
So,
for sure.
Pochettino. Has he done this before? Like, he's been a very successful manager.
He's never managed a national team.
Okay.
Yeah. And there are different dynamics for sure.
We really are doing soccer for dummies. What are the difference in the dynamics?
So if you're a manager of a club, that is a day-to-day thing, right? You're with players from leading up to August, where the season kicks off, through May, right? And there's really only a small period in the summer where you're not with these players training every day, playing a long 35-game schedule, playing in European Cup competitions, domestic cup competitions. Whereas if you're a national team coach, number one, you don't get to work with the sporting director about who you want to go sign, right? And certain players to put together a team from all over the world, from different countries. You are beholden to your national team pool. So your job is to get an idea of what the best version of your team is with only players from your pool, only American players, and you really only get certain windows to work with them throughout the course of the year. There are international breaks sprinkled in throughout a season where players can go off to be with their national teams, play a couple of friendlies, go for various competitions. So it is a challenge where you only get a couple weeks at a time with these guys, and you got to figure out a way for everybody to play together, for everybody to be on the same page, and to play a certain brand of soccer that you think can get you results in a knockout competition. So Mauricio Pochettino is a manager that has overseen youth development at big clubs. He has overseen star power at big clubs. He's coached Messi, Mbappe, Neymar, and so on. So the U.S. made a big swing in anticipation of the 2026 World Cup. Let's go get one of the biggest names in soccer coaching to come in here, almost mercenary style, and put our player pool in the best position to make a deep run in 2026.
And so we won't know if that's happened, right? Because there's been some, I don't even want to call it controversy, but just he's a little bit polarizing, right? He's very blunt. Pochettino, he was talking about how he came up with the U.S. men's national roster and the lack of emotion that goes into it. Apparently there's been some level of confusion about who the starting goalie is.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be Matt Freese, NYCFC keeper, but yes.
Kind of still crazy to not be a known commodity. I mean, I guess we had Tim Howard for 100 years. So
well, and that is the thing. I mean, for so long, not just Tim Howard, but Brad Friedel, Brad Gruzan, Casey Keller, Tony Miola. These were players that played at high levels in Europe and around the world.
Do we do goalies better than anybody?
I don't know better than anybody, but it's easily the best position the U.S. has ever produced.
Okay.
Ever. I mean, for generations. My entire soccer life, goalie has been arguably the biggest strength of the team. And now that's not necessarily the case. There are some questions there. All three of our goalies on this team at the World Cup are out of Major League Soccer. He's made some questionable decisions over the last year and a half with his team, but it's clear that he was just tearing down the culture and rebuilding it from scratch and has left no stone unturned in the players that he's called up from all over the place, from MLS and around the world, to result with this team in 2026. And it's been a roundabout way to get to 2026, but suddenly there's some optimism. You saw some good things from the U.S. in their 2 friendlies leading up to this, and now we kick off, and the U.S. will take on Paraguay at SoFi Stadium on Friday. We'll be out at Geodis Park, the Publix Plaza, for a watch party. Should be a great time. It's free, open to the public. There will be food, drink vendors, and I think it's going to be awesome, man. I just can't wait to watch people rally for these games and to go to a watch party with hundreds of people going nuts for opportunities that come around once every 4 years, and in many, many cases, once in a lifetime for these players. It's a special thing, and I can't wait to be a part of it with all you guys.
What'd you learn?
You're only allowed to cheer for your country unless your mom or your dad is from somewhere else, and then you got to cheer for them. So I'm going to be rooting for South Korea. My dad was stationed in the Air Force there for a couple of years. He said plenty of times that if he was there for another month that I would be a small Korean boy instead of the red-haired ginger that you see before you today. So I will be hoping that my team has some soul as South Korea brings it in the World Cup. Do they have a chance?
I am not in love with South Korea's chances in this World Cup, but I do think they will get out of the group. They share a group with Mexico.
What? Who's the best South Korean player?
Son Heung-min. He's probably the best Asian player of all time.
Son Heung-min? Is that how you say it?
Son Heung-min, or Heung-min Son. Different variations of it.
So it's spelled Hung.
No, I'll let you look it up. He plays for LAFC currently. Played for Tottenham for a decade plus. I worry that he is too centralized a talent for South Korea, and they're not going to be able to support him, and he'll be left pretty isolated up top.
What are you talking about, dude? In 13 games, he had 8 assists and 1 yellow card in 2026 for LAFC. Come on, dude. He's a real competitor.
He was here in Nashville just a couple of weeks ago. He's a great player. He's getting up there in the twilight of his career. Still a great player. And yeah, you should root for South Korea.
Tough for you to say that as he is 33 years old, which I will be in 2 months. Come on, what are we doing? His birthday's July 8th. Is that a Leo? Is July 8th Leo?
I think he's a Cancer.
You can root for South Korea.
Oh, I'm allowed to do that.
You can do whatever you want, Robert. But when you're asking me,
no, you threatened him.
Yeah, you were pretty aggressive.
Forgive me. He's asking me.
You said who do
I root for in this tournament, man? Like it's difficult. Like it
is difficult. I don't know any of these people. I don't know what they do. It's like if we all picked up ping pong, and it's like, oh, you should go for Josh Maccabee because he's a great ping pong player.
Who does Weston McKennie play for?
Weston McKennie? No clue. That's not a real person. You guys are just making names up now.
He mentioned him as a member of the U.S. men's national team earlier in the show.
Oh.
Why is it that you seem to not want to root for the U.S.?
Because you say they're going to lose, and they're not going to be in this thing that lasts 5 stinking weeks. So if I root for them, okay, they're out after 2 weeks. What do I do the rest of the damn time?
Well, that doesn't make sense to me. So, like, if the Ravens have a bit of a dip and
but then
Super Bowl contenders, you're just not going to...
No, because then I can look at the draft. And then I can go, okay, how are the Ravens going to get better next year? What do? Go look at youth soccer camps and be like, this guy's going to be really great the next time the World Cup comes around. No, I'm trying to be interested in it the entire time.
Jerk. It's not going to happen.
You guys are you're sounding real soccer elitist. Like, oh no, you can't like soccer.
You guys.
All right, Kroll. This is where I'm tagging in. Tag me in. All right, I'm going back to my corner.
We got to go to break.
Now, this is on us because I said we were going to talk about the Knicks here, but we've got more World Cup conversation to have. So we'll get to the Knicks here in just a second.
Especially requested by Robert.
Well, he's not there.
Oh, what's up, girl?
You feel that we alienate soccer people?
I think we
talk
just
soccer the
I
way
think we
that,
just alienated Robert. He's gone.
Well, yeah. What do you think he's going to be like for the next 5 weeks? But you're worried that the true soccer fans that actually care about this thing are going to be alienated by the fact that Robert and I know nothing.
No, I don't think so.
That's literally what you just said to me in a commercial break. Why are you lying right now? So you heard that we were doing basketball and you came back.
I thought we were talking about the Knicks. Yeah,
No,
I came
World
back
Cup.
for it.
World Cup.
All right, I'll be back.
At some point, it just becomes like a stubbornness thing. You know what I mean? Like he's just dug in. I respect it.
I am willing to try and be better as far as this goes, but we're going to need your help.
I think Robert operates into the premise when other people want him to get into something or tell him he should be into something, then that makes him want to be into it less.
Yes.
I can relate to that.
Yeah.
It's like Sons of Anarchy. Like all of my friends were into it. Oh, it's so good. Oh, I'll never watch it. Or Prison Break. Oh, Prison Break, so
I was
good.
like that with Prison Break. I did enjoy Sons of Anarchy.
Well, I'll definitely never watch it.
I just telling you.
Kind of like when I tell you guys about a great movie I saw or a TV show, and you're like, nope, never going to see it.
You realize I've watched like every movie you've thrown at me for the last however many weeks. You brought up Rounders the other day. I watched it the next day.
Did you?
What about
great movie?
What about The Backrooms?
I don't like scary movies.
Oh, well,
You know
that's
this.
that's what I love. I love scary movies. I love thrillers.
Dan is in Lewisburg.
Hello, Dan.
What's going on, guys?
Not much.
Hey, this question's for you, Lucas. Appreciate what you brought to the forefront to the fans like myself that are not on top of soccer, we'll say, as a sport lover, but learning it more and more, and would like to get your opinion on who do you think the two front forerunners are in the tournament to win it, and we ought to be looking out and watching for it.
Thanks for the call, Dan.
Thanks, Dan. The two biggest favorites per pretty much every sports book you look at are France and Spain, with good reason. Spain are coming off a Euro 2024 title. France are the most talented roster. The only thing that can get in France's way, it feels like, is France, which has happened at multiple World Cups before. Very emotional, the French.
I feel like you could say that about any world event involving the French.
Yes, there's a trend there. There's a great documentary about the French national team revolt of 2010 on Netflix that I would suggest any soccer fan to go watch if you remember that whole situation of them boycotting training and the whole deal.
So I'm going to be in Spain when they play Uruguay.
Oh, awesome. That's the best game of their group stage for sure. The question
That's
is...
not a fine. I'm going on vacation.
I'm going on vacation in Spain,
I didn't say that I'm going to be sitting in a pool in Ibiza drinking a cocktail watching the Spanish national team play Uruguay.
The rain in Spain falls lightly on the window pane.
Where?
Ibiza.
That you'll be in Ibiza at that point? Oh, it's going to be electric. I mean, it's going to be unbelievable. I believe, is that their final group stage game?
Yes.
I think it is. So, Lamine Yamal,
Yes, so they have Cape Verde, Saudi Arabia, and then Uruguay.
So, the group will likely be decided by that game.
And that one's going to be in Mexico.
The big question around Spain right now is around Lamine Yamal, who is arguably the greatest player in the world right now, and he's 18. He's got braces. I mean, he was winning a Euro.
What's wrong with that?
2024 with the Spanish national team 2 years ago at 16.
I got to tell you.
Don't be a bracist, dude. There's nothing wrong with being an adult with braces.
You're correct. But he's an absolute wonder kid. He's one of the funnest players to watch in this competition. He'll take players on, but he's dealing with a hamstring injury. And the question about him is his availability in the group stage. There's a chance he'll be back for that third game against Uruguay. So you may see Lamal's World Cup debut in Spain against the best team in their group. That's going to be so much fun.
What correction would you like to make for Lucas?
Well, only because we're talking about the World Cup.
Why are you trying to now?
And I feel like
of me trying to drive or create derision between the two of you, now it feels like you're trying to do it.
I would just like a clarification that it is not Wonder Kid. It is Wunderkind.
Wunderkind.
Which is Wonderkind. There's no kid. It's not the Wonder Kid. Sounds like a terrible.
Is Wonder Kid not a word?
No, it's not Wonder Kid. It's Wonderkind.
People in the chat are now descending upon you. Brent says, did you just say Wonder Kid?
Wonder Kid, derived from the German Wunderkind, a young, exceptionally talented person who achieves remarkable success or notoriety in their field at an unusually young age.
No, it's not Wonder Kid.
Most widely used in professional sports.
You looked up Wonder Kid? Because when I look up Wonder Kid, it's from the 2016 short movie called Wonder Kid. Okay, here's a Reddit article. Okay, I'm going to risk sounding like an idiot here, but I don't understand why Nate is saying Wonder Kid instead of Wunderkind.
And Ted Lasso.
Yes, which is such an ongoing gag. Because the Wonderkind is used for a prodigy. It's the same. You can't use Wonder Kid.
The word Wunderkind is used to say, like, he's a prodigy, right?
A savant, yes.
Right. So why not just flip that over to Wonder Kid? It makes sense, right?
Well, because you are not American. You don't get to plead American ignorance. You are a Italian.
Not Brazilian.
Fake Brazilian Italian.
Pseudo-Brazilian.
Brazilian. Wait, how would you combine those two?
Britalian.
Yeah.
All right. So that was Talking Soccer for an hour. Can't wait for 5 weeks of that. Knicks in 4 next.
It is 12:03. Good afternoon. From the Circus Sports at the Mint Kentucky Downs studio, I'm Lucas Panzica. Breaking news in the world of college football. Texas Tech quarterback Brendan Sorsby has been granted a preliminary injunction against the NCAA by a local court in Lubbock. He is currently eligible for the 2026 season. The injunction says Sorsby will be suspended for the first 2 games of the season against Abilene Christian and Oregon State. He would be a go for the Big 12 opener against Houston in Week 3. Sorsby stepped away from the Texas Tech football program earlier this offseason to enter a rehab program for a gambling addiction. The NBA Finals continued tonight as the series heads to New York for Game 3. The Knicks lead it 2-0 after holding off a Spurs comeback in Game 2 on Friday. Tip-off tonight is at 7:30. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
We got a Game 3 in the NBA Finals tonight. The Knicks host. Series heads back or goes to Madison Square Garden for the first time after the Knicks. And we've been making references to the unthinkable here for, I don't know, the last like 4 or 5 days we've done shows. The Knicks being up 2-0 and doing that in San Antonio to start the series is actually unthinkable. I know it was a 1-point win in Game 2 on Friday night, but still, the New York Knicks have not lost a game since April. It's a ridiculous thing to say. Now, tonight, there's a lot of pressure on them. There's, I guess, pressure on them at every turn. Jalen Brunson seems to be the most unfazed athlete in the modern age that I can remember. And the thing that has garnered most of the headlines is not really even the Knicks being up 2-0. It's the fact that, one, have you seen the ticket prices for Madison Square Garden?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like in the thousands minimum.
So get in for the national championship was reportedly somewhere, for the national championship in football between Miami and Indiana, was reportedly somewhere around $3,500. Face value was a little more than $800. They are saying, as of yesterday, I haven't seen the latest, I haven't checked Ticketmaster this morning or anything like that, but they were saying as of yesterday that the cheapest get-in price for Madison Square Garden was $7,500.
Wow.
Now, this is in part because the Knicks are a wagon, and New York City, the entirety of New York City, is behind the Knicks, and the celebrity appearances are off the charts, but also compounded by the fact that the President of the United States is going to be at the NBA Finals for the first time in history.
Yeah, that'll complicate things for sure.
Never had a sitting president at an NBA Finals, according to Adam Silver.
Which blows my mind. Honestly, that blows my mind.
I just think about it from a security standpoint, though, Lucas. It's a lot to manage.
I know. I just think that's insane. That's never happened before.
Well, I think a lot of people, and Trump is from New York, right? And I think Silver is on record saying that it would be their honor to have President Trump in the building for tonight's game, and that he's been he's a lifetime New Yorker, and so why shouldn't he be there for the Knicks? And that's all well and good. But I do think that you have to be a little bit considerate if you're the president of the United States in this situation, because they're not having any outdoor watch parties around Madison Square Garden, which has been I would argue 60% of the joy, the sports joy around this series has been the scene. New York City has been electric. Do you see that the New Yorkers went after Elmo because Elmo tweeted from his official Twitter account? Elmo just hopes both teams have a good time. New Yorkers have eviscerated
That's
Elmo.
Great. I mean,
there may not be a more singularly unifying moment in the history of New York City than the Knicks winning the finals, and they are not having the watch parties outside. Apparently, it is TSA-like entry. People are being advised to get there 2 hours before tip to be able to get to their seats in a comfortable and safe fashion because of the additional screening and security, understanding that the President of the United States being at an event like this is going to bring additional security.
There is not a team in New York with a more intimate relationship with New Yorkers than the Knicks, right?
Do you know, do you know how many championships the Yankees have?
So many.
27.
Yeah.
The Mets, I believe, have 2 World Series. The Giants have 4 Super Bowls. The Jets even have a Super Bowl, but it's like Super Bowl 3 or whatever it is.
Like, what would burn New York down? I say that in the most metaphorical, positive way. More, the Knicks doing this or the Jets winning a Super Bowl?
The Knicks.
Yeah, it feels like it's the Knicks.
Because in New York, think about this. You do have a strong contingent of what? Both Jets and Giants fans. It's split. And both teams play in New Jersey, for what it's worth. So it's not like you're having the celebrations around Madison Square Garden if the Jets win it in the Meadowlands, right? I mean, it's a little different. Maybe New York still goes crazy, but whatever. This is in Manhattan, Madison Square Garden. This is right in the heart of the city. So you've got that compounded with the fact that New York is split on every other sports allegiance, right? Other than the Knicks. I mean, I guess the New York Liberty, haven't they won a title here recently? But either way.
Yeah, it's the Knicks.
It's the Knicks. So New York, I think this may be the most important championship if New York wins it that the city of New York has ever won.
And they really felt like stole one on Friday. I mean, we're in control, but that Spurs comeback really felt like we were headed towards an even series coming back to Madison Square Garden. That turnover by Victor Wembanyama late, and New York survives. So they are 1.5-point favorites tonight. 7:30 is the tip-off at MSG. If they do this, and if they win tonight, it just feels like we're destined for a sweep, right? If they pull this off and sweep the Spurs, they will finish the postseason on a 14-game win streak. They're currently on a 12-game win streak. Now, the record is 15 straight wins in one NBA playoffs, Golden State Warriors, but they lost. They came up short in 2017, losing to the Cavs.
Yep, LeBron.
So they came up short of that perfect postseason. But if the Knicks do this and finish out on a 14-game win streak, it will be the longest playoff win streak to result in an NBA championship, right? Will it be considered the best playoff run in NBA history?
It has to be in the conversation. Because, I mean, who would be MVP right now if they gave out the finals MVP today? It wouldn't be Brunson. It'd be Cat. Karl Anthony Towns.
He's been all world.
Has been awesome. Done an excellent job with Wembanyama. Everything that Chet Holmgren wasn't doing and letting Wemby off the hook in the Western Conference Finals, Cat's met the moment. You can make fun of his behavior and his lisp and everything else that you want to. He's been the man.
Yeah.
So far.
Defensively, what he's done at times against Wembanyama, this feels like the Knicks series.
Even Josh Hart, like that's the thing that makes this team likable, is that they're all different kinds of characters, all kinds of different players. And Josh Hart, maybe he hasn't had success getting his shot to fall lately, specifically the jumper, but he's been just a warrior out there in terms of rebounds. He's just eating glass at every turn. They're just doing the dirty work, the necessary things it takes to win a championship, and they're doing it pretty quietly. For a New York team, they don't have explosive personalities. There's not there. I mean, is Karl Anthony Towns the most polarizing player on the Knicks?
Brunson is currently the favorite to win Finals MVP. And if he continues to power them from a scoring perspective and comes up clutch in big moments, he's going to win Finals MVP. But Cat is right there behind him. The Knicks have outscored their opponents by 272 points during this 12-game winning streak.
Just rolled teams.
That's 30 more points than the Warriors outscored their opponents by over their 15-game win streak. 3 more games in that sample size. So it is turning into just a historic run, and it just feels so inevitable that the Knicks are going to hoist the Larry O'Brien trophy. The question is, are they going to do it with a spotless record in the NBA Finals, too?
I would be surprised if the Spurs got swept. I would be genuinely surprised. There's too many good players beyond just Wembanyama.
To me, that means to you think the Spurs win tonight. Because if the Spurs lose tonight, I don't see how this ends anything other than a sweep.
I do think I would What's the line?
1.5. Knicks.
Really? It's that short? Yeah, I'd probably bet Spurs. I think it's a huge task. And maybe they will do the thing that they have continued to do, which is just club everybody. And I'll look like a fool for doubting the team that's had no reason to doubt them the whole way through the postseason. I just think the degree of difficulty, it's way more likely that San Antonio gets one in New York. 615-737-1045. We're going to get back into this Brendan Sorsby story that broke a little before we went to air today. It's the biggest story in sports. He's regained, at least on a temporary basis, his eligibility to play college football despite betting on games for a team of which he was a part of back in 2022. Dan Lust, sports attorney, is going to join us to talk about what the hell happens next. I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone. We got to send up the bat signal every once in a while. We got to find the sports attorney. We got to find Dan Lust. Brendan Sorsby's up. There's the gavel. Is Dan there? Do we have the sports attorney? Dan Lust. It's been a while since Danny's been on the show. It's great to see you. We're very happy that you are as responsive as you are because we're not smart, Dan. And so anytime something like this happens, we just kind of look at each other and say, okay, we should call Dan, and Dan will make it all feel better. Except for this Brendan Sorsby thing, because I have to imagine that even you, or maybe you aren't surprised by this. What is your reaction to the Brendan Sorsby temporary injunction?
So first of all, you've been saying you haven't been smart for a number of years. I would like to say that you've gotten a little bit smarter over that period of time. I
have my notebook. When you ask me legal things to repeat back to you, I have my notebook.
I disagree.
Well, I'll say this. So certainly this is precedent setting. Someone betting on their own sport and being then allowed to play games, we've never heard of it. But then again, this framework that is the NCAA in 2026, if you don't like a decision by the NCAA, you have the ability under the, we'll say, lack of framework to take this to a local judge and ask him for some relief, ask him or her for relief. So we have seen this across a number of sports for the last, we'll say, year or so, where a player goes and maybe it's additional eligibility or they're trying to go back to school after having been through a draft process, and they go to a local judge, and guess what? The local judge who has some ties to the community seems to side for, be it that player or the school, wherever the local judge seems to have that bias. That has happened with some degree of, we'll say, some alarming degree of consistency. So I was thinking that this would be the type of case that even a judge in Lubbock, Texas, would say, you know what, this is too far. This sets a precedent that the sports world hasn't seen. But just looking at this order that came out today, we don't have that. We have seemingly the judge agreeing with a very short punishment, a 2-game suspension. And then after that, absent some type of appeal, we're going to see Sorsby on the field. So, maybe the broader sports world is surprised, but this kind of decision by decision of local judges doing something that seems to be in the benefit of wherever their locale is, that has remained consistent over the last year or so.
Is that the only course of action from here, Dan, to somehow find a path towards a reversal? Would it simply be a long shot NCAA appeal?
It sounds bizarre, but the short answer is yes. I mean, just in the hierarchy, and we've had this conversation over the last couple of years, right? What is higher? The NCAA, this private association and collection of rules and coaches and teams, or a state court judge or a federal court judge? So yeah, absent some type of appeal from the NCAA, this injunction prevents the NCAA from basically saying he cannot play. So the NCAA put an order out in their own internal rules. They did not grant Sorsby additional eligibility. They said he couldn't play for the obvious reasons that this created a very poor precedent in terms of gambling, notwithstanding potentially his treatment and whatever he wanted to go through for Gamblers Anonymous and whatnot. There are just some things that we know in sports that you cannot do, and that is consistent at the professional level. And absent that, it's not the NCAA changing their rules. It's just a Texas judge saying that you are not allowed to say that he cannot play. So absent an appeal, which I do think we will get. If you looked at the NCAA statement today, it seems like that's going to come. But yeah, Sorsby could have appealed this the other way as well and said, absent, my appeal and my appellate process, I'm going to keep fighting this. And just before people think this is completely unprecedented, Trinidad Chambliss over in Ole Miss country, we did not think he was going to get another year of eligibility, took that to a Mississippi court. And guess what the Mississippi court said? They said, you know what? That means our quarterback can play another year. There's seemingly no precedent for this. Yeah, sure. Let it happen. That sounds good. Sounds good by us.
So at Sports Law Lust is where you follow Dan Lust, sports attorney, who is here helping us understand the details of the Brendan Sorsby temporary injunction.
There is no, claim of innocence here, right? I mean, Brendan Sorsby has been the one that has recused himself, that sent himself to the rehab facility. There have been acknowledgments by all parties that this is something that happened. Brendan Sorsby gambling on Indiana football games while a member of the Indiana football roster. So the 2-game suspension is being basically framed as punishment for that here. And in that local court, the judge is saying the irreparable harm that he would see by not playing in 2026 would be punishment too heavy. Is that kind of a way to frame it, I guess?
Well, it's interesting, right? Like Pete Rose never being allowed in the Hall of Fame, right? Like, or not being associated with baseball, or you can take any any scenario, with Emmanuel Clase and the Cleveland Guardians, right? It would be irreparable for a player not to be able to play again. But on the other side of that, is that irreparable harm justified? If someone commits, goes on a shooting spree and kills a number of people, and that person gets sent to jail for life or worse, like, yeah, there would be irreparable harm to that person's life, but that's justified on the other end. So that was the balancing act that the court had to do here. And yeah, I could really easily make a case that there would be irreparable harm to Sorsby. The question is whether it's justified. And our sports brains, right, independent of the legal side, tells us that, yeah, if you bet on your own team and you potentially have inside information, you don't get another crack at it. It just doesn't happen. We have no precedent for that anywhere across the sports landscape. Some caller might call in and tell me some crazy scenario, but I'm not aware of one. So our sports brains say that. And then yet again, a judge in Lubbock, Texas, heard the irreparable harm side of it. And I'm looking at the order. I don't see a recitation to, right, like a long, drawn-out decision talking about the Pete Rose of it all or any type of these inside betting situations we've had. And that Lubbock, Texas judge doesn't have to do that, right? Those are just things that we understand as sports precedent, but those aren't binding on a state court judge in Texas. And mind you, before people kind of harp on this Lubbock component, the judge in this case was basically assigned to this after the first judge, I believe Judge Hayes was his name, I think was a graduate of Texas Tech and recused himself about a week or so ago. So they brought in a new judge to say, hey, there's going to be no bias here. This guy has no, specific Texas Tech connection. Maybe he's connected to Texas, obviously, because he's in the state. But they tried to remove that stench, and we still ended up with the decision that, people in the space thought was possible. If you asked probably the lawyers, the odds of that happening from a lawyer's perspective are a little bit higher. But the sports fan, yeah, there is no precedent for this in the sports world. That's what makes this particularly shocking today.
I just have to imagine, because I'm almost prone, Dan, at this point to think worst case scenario when it comes to collegiate athletics right now. If he is granted or has his eligibility restored with legal backing, I can't imagine what kind of can of worms that opens up in the world of collegiate athletics.
Well, I guess the bigger issue is, like, where is the line? What can someone do and still be able to play? Like, we can say the extreme example of murder or something crazy. I don't think we quite get there, but betting on sports has been taboo for as long as we've all followed sports. And now we have the NCAA, because of this, and this is kind of where we started, the lack of an NIL framework. We have state laws and state court judges making decisions that the NCAA can't seem to stop. I was on your show maybe a year or so ago when basically the Tennessee Attorney General basically said, yeah, you can't come after us. We're going to get a federal court injunction. And that just basically stopped the NCAA in their tracks, that they couldn't punish a collective for any activities. They couldn't punish the school for the collective's activities. So the NCAA really has kind of their hands tied behind their back. If there's a decision that is reached at the NCAA level that a player or someone or school doesn't like, they can take that to local court. That's not something we see at the professional level because of collective bargaining. If you don't like a decision from Roger Goodell or from Adam Silver, there's an internal mechanism to challenge that. And rarely do those things go to court unless it's like Tom Brady or Deflategate or Zeke Elliott. Like, those things very rarely happen, but they're happening across the board. Once a month, we're seeing that. And that's even crazy things like, hey, a guy goes through the NBA draft process, gets drafted, goes to summer league, and now he's allowed to go back to his team at the collegiate level. Like, those two things in tandem, I didn't think we would see, and yet we've seen both of them in the last 6 months.
Dan Lust here with us on 104.5 The Zone. We're talking about the Brendan Sorsby case.
At Sports Law Lust on Twitter. So the NCAA, we somehow find new levels of the NCAA's powerlessness, and this feels like the highest level that we have reached in that regard, truly, of the what would you say you do here sort of quote. And it's a bad place to be, Dan, but now I find myself looking towards Washington and the Protect College Sports Act and saying, okay, can that come in here and save us? Nick Saban supporting it. The SEC and Big Ten have spoken out and said they would not support it. But at this point, we're grasping for something, anything. What did you make of the bipartisan bill that was introduced a couple of weeks ago and the chances that it has of unifying the sport, the landscape in some sort of way?
Yeah, I've been following a number of bills that have been put up for debate over the last couple of years. And what is it, Green Day, like Wake Me Up When September Ends? It's like, wake me up when one of these officially passes, because we can just debate these. We can bring Saban on the floor. We can have players. And it's a lot of fun. It's window dressing. Like, But until it's passed, it doesn't really matter. But at the end of that finish line, like if we're grasping at straws and saying the only way that we can give the NCAA some teeth is if we involve the federal government, it just seems like a very odd place that we've gotten to. So we've had, obviously Senator Cruz and Senator Cantwell, they're putting together joint, bipartisan legislation. They're talking about putting caps on agent fees. They're talking about one-time transfer, really, really good things. But then again, we still can't seem to get there. The goalpost continues to move and move and move. And, the constant debate, like we had a White House roundtable maybe 2-3 months ago, some really good kind of like pontificating, good word for you, Buck, pontificating there.
Thanks, buddy.
That's when, Lucas, you're supposed to bang the gavel, but, neither here nor there. But
how is Dan better at this than we are?
I don't have the buttons, Dan. I don't have control of the buttons.
He got a promotion. He mails it in anymore. We got a different button pusher back there. Robert should be held accountable.
Listen, it's my first time on with Robert, so it's understood. But, I've been speaking to journalists in the space, and I get asked this question, like, what do you think of this bill? What do you think of that bill? What do you think of the chances? And I go, until one passes, I'm not really concerned with it. But we've alluded to what we have in professional sports. We have the employees, the players, and we have the employers, the owners getting together and making a set of rules between them that makes sense, right? That's collectively bargained, that's jointly agreed to. Here we have a third party, the federal government, trying to step in and we'll say, mediate, moderate, whatever they want to say. But that kind of begs the question, when do we get to the point when we have the players speaking for themselves, not Nick Saban speaking on behalf of college sports to federal legislators, we have the players unionize and collectively bargain, be it with the conferences, with their schools, and actually have a framework that is now safe from federal legislation because the players have agreed to give up their legal right to go to the courts. And that seems to be the tougher question. Unionization is probably the logical framework that would get to it. But this level of chaos, as we just talked about with Sorsby, I think tremendously benefits the players. They can transfer as many times as they want. They can take a decision that they don't like at the NCAA level and take it to court. Players don't really seem to have the motivation to want to create this tough framework to give the NCAA some level of teeth. So that's how we keep getting there. And I'm not sure, I've been on your show, guys, for a number of years. I always said unionization was a matter of, when. It wasn't if. And now we're 6 years in it, and I'm not sure how close it is. So, yeah, I think the federal government at some point, not that we want the federal government in our sports, but if we want the NCAA to have teeth, they are begging and pleading Congress to get it done. And, maybe this bill is it. It's bipartisan, so certainly it has that going for it. But, yeah, absent the players, unanimous support for something like this, I have a hard time seeing something like this get passed on Drove.
No, every Charlie Baker statement lately just seems like a cry for help. I mean, just consistently. Dan Lust, always good to make some time for us. Buddy, we appreciate it. It's really good to see you. Hopefully it won't be a year before the next time that we talk to you. We'll have to dive back into, because I know there's a lot of legal situations happening in the world of sports. This one has just been so unbelievable, and I felt that we needed your particular brand of expertise, so we're grateful to you.
Good, my pleasure. Anytime, guys.
Love you, Dan.
Oh, that's awkward.
I love you.
That's awkward. Yeah.
He didn't hear you, buddy.
No, he definitely heard me. God, he's attractive, though, isn't he? I got in Buck's ear and was like, is there a Mrs. Lust? Like, my mom, I need a new stepdad. Like, he's a lawyer. He's handsome. He looks like Clark Kent.
He's lusting for lust.
Lusting for Dan.
Hey, now, it's Nuclear Family Month. All right, you better back it down over there. You better back it the hell down over there, all right? Or Bill Lee's going to drop down from the sky and just, I don't know. But it's not going to be pleasant. I'm going to send you down to TN.
I keep coming back to this statement from Cody Campbell, this Texas Tech booster. This unfortunate situation is the outcome of a broken system.
Yeah.
I'm doing everything I can to fix it.
Yes.
But until there's a permanent solution, Texas Tech and its student athletes have to do the best they can to navigate and compete amid the chaos. I can't get over that. Guys, I'm trying. But in the meantime, yeah, come on, we want to win games. What are we going to do? We're not going to not play the quarterback that gambled on his own team?
What would you, if you had a valuation of, let's just say, $7 billion and Tennessee was a quarterback away from a national championship, your ass wouldn't get in there and just make a mess of college sports for the sake of a natty?
And not only, I'm doing everything I can to fix it. Like, what? Hold on, wait, Cody, who asked Cody Campbell to fix? He's just He's just a billionaire
He's
that
just a
gives
rich
money.
guy. That's right.
What are you going to do to fix it, Cody Campbell? What do you mean you're doing everything you can to fix it?
Buddy, I feel like people are asking that question of billionaires all around the country on a regular basis, more and more. Lucas's baptism into politics being college sports is one of my favorite things ever.
I mean, through all of the crap, the tampering and portal and NIL and calendar, this is as bad as it's gotten to me. The precedent that you can gamble on your team or an opposing team, you can do so with inside information. And if you've got a good lawyer, you're probably still good to play football. And there will not be any consequences other than, on the field, 2 games. 2 games in which Texas Tech, even without Brendan Sorsby, will be favored by double digits.
Well, and to go back to our discussion earlier, if you're in your last year of eligibility, what are they going to do? Track you down after the fact? Once the NCAA does finally get some teeth on a subject like this, if this ends up going the way that it's now infinitely more possible that it goes. We all thought that once the NCAA denied Brendan Sorsby's eligibility, that there's just no way, right? There's no way that a judge, no matter what county he's in, even if he is in Lubbock, Texas, is going to rule in any kind of favor for Brendan Sorsby. This is a temporary injunction, so it's not a permanent situation. It's not a complete reinstatement, but it's further than we thought this thing would get, which has, again, opened up the possibility to that quarterback playing.
There's so much about it that is so mind-numbing. That Brendan Sorsby, according to the judge, Ken Curry, would suffer irreparable harm if he's not allowed to play for Texas Tech this season. Like he's a victim in this situation. And it's a crippling addiction, and it ruins lives. And we hope nothing but the best for Sorsby on the personal side. But just the lack of accountability on this, he would suffer irreparable harm if he's not allowed to play for Texas Tech. Yes, because of his actions. Sometimes your actions lead to consequences. You could argue he would suffer irreparable harm because of actions that he committed. They would be the consequences of that. I can't even, my little pea brain is having a really hard time right now figuring out how this was even on the table for it to be rationalized in a court. I don't care how hyper-local it was.
Do you guys remember Miles Austin?
No.
He's an NFL receiver. He's coaching for the Jets there for a while.
Yeah, Cowboys receiver. Played at Monmouth?
Yep. So Miles Austin, back in 2022, was suspended by the NFL for wagering on basketball games. He wasn't betting on football games at all. He was betting on basketball games, right? He's a wide receiver coach for the Jets. Suspended, ended up losing his job. Now, maybe he's the Jets wide receiver coach. Maybe you fire him anyway. There are so many instances of athletes having serious consequences associated with not even betting on, like, their teams.
Yeah.
And there are serious infractions elsewhere, right? We've talked about Jonte Porter. What was the college basketball scandal involving the mob and poker games and Chauncey Billups and everything else?
Shaving.
Right. All these different things. So there are both sides to these stories, but it just, like, I would almost compare it to officiating in sports. I just want consistency. I just want to know where the line is, if the line does still exist. And if the line doesn't exist, then tell me so I don't have to pretend anymore. Because I'm tired of pretending that these things have some kind of moral ground to stand on relating to governance in collegiate athletics. All for naught. All to let Brendan Sorsby trot out there on the field in his Texas Tech uniform and throw a couple of touchdown passes against Houston after a 2-game suspension for betting upwards of $90,000.
We were asking the question of how this came to light in the first place. Was this just something that was such an issue for Sorsby that he simply had to put himself into a program that he knew would go public and had no choice? But to take this public, not an investigation, but Sorsby himself. And it sounds like we got some inside information on exactly how this came to be.
Next. So the news of the day has been the Brendan Sorsby news. Right now, eligible to play college football. But one conversation that we had earlier around this was involving how the information came to light. And I told you, Lucas, that I had trouble kind of like straddling the line between, okay, did he get help because he genuinely needed help in reference to entering into a gambling addiction treatment facility? Or did he get help because it was the PR savvy thing to do in terms of appealing to the NCAA and then in legal proceedings to show, show a good faith here. I'm going to go into gambling rehab. Please let me play college football next year. So the cynical approach would be the latter, right? It's a PR move. You got advice, said it'd be better if you went to gambling treatment, gambling rehab before we go through this whole process, because we can at least put it down on paper, say, hey, show a good faith here.
Yeah, because this is going to get out.
And that is dismissive, though, of the idea that gambling addiction is very real. And I'm sure in certain situations where you think you have a lot more money than you actually do, it can completely take over your life and put you down a path that does cause irreparable harm. So I don't want to be callous to the idea of gambling addiction and people seeking treatment. But I think that this Sorsby situation, the more information that we get, it sounds like it's more the latter, the PR move, than the former.
Yeah, so we learned during the break that Cincinnati, once Brendan Sorsby transferred to Texas Tech, ran this up the flagpole, essentially, and reported Brendan Sorsby's gambling history, which obviously bled into his time at Cincinnati. There's no allegation specifically that he gambled on Cincinnati games while he was playing as the starting quarterback at Cincinnati, but they obviously were aware of the situation and the concerns around it, and they reported it. And so it seems like this was going to get out there no matter what. And Brendan Sorsby putting out a statement, recusing himself from the program and entering a rehab facility was his way of getting out in front of it.
And that is not something that is being reported outside yet. That was just a nugget that we got from someone.
Yeah. That Cincinnati is the one who kind of brought this into the limelight once he left Cincinnati to go take money and play for Texas Tech.
I mean, if you're Cincinnati, you want to be on the forefront of that. Be like, hey, our hands are clean of this.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you reported it only after he left, but right. Yes.
Yeah, well, we ain't going to say nothing. We know we're cool. We know we're cool, Sorsby.
Lucas.
Not while he was winning football games for you.
If I was waiting for somebody in this situation to do the right thing, I would be waiting for the rest of my life.
Yep.
Because as callers have pointed out today, somebody at some point in a position of power could step in and do the right thing and not push this thing forward. And at every turn, everybody surrounding the Texas Tech and Texas Tech side of things, even if there are people who are morally opposed to what's happening here, they're not saying anything.
Yeah.
They're letting this continue to bleed out into the public sphere and make a mockery of what little integrity it feels like college sports has left. We're just gonna pee on it. It's enough. Well, why continue to prop this up as a sham anymore? Let's just open the floodgates, let the gamblers play. Who cares anymore?
You know where else the gamblers can play if they want?
Where?
The Split Happens Bowling Bash. Oh. We don't care.
Yeah, we don't.
We don't care about your gambling history. Now, if you got a problem, please seek help. But everyone is welcome.
1-800-889-9789.
Yes, everyone is welcome to the Split Happens Bowling Bash. We're going to be at Eastside Bowl. Really cool spot if you've never been. Retro style bowling alley, 16 lanes, a diner. There's live music. There's billiards. There's arcade games. Full bar. Great menu. And we're going to be hanging out July 16th from 6 to 9 p.m. Go to 1045thezone.com for tickets.
It's one of my favorite things that we do all year. The bowling event is a great time, and it helps raise money for a very special charity for us in Home Street Home. What, Robert?
And it's also, what, Robert? No, what would you like to add?
Right. What would you like to add? That's a very diplomatic way for me to welcome you into the conversations.
You could go, well, hello, Robert. Oh, so excited for you to chime in again.
Not excited.
the money that you would pay for this, you already know that it goes to a good cause, but $40 to bowl for 3 hours, you're just not going to find that. I bowled this weekend with Cheyenne in Cherokee when I got a moment away from my mom and got to breathe for a second. But while we were doing it, it cost like $36 just to bowl for an hour. $40, including your shoe rental, that is something worth being excited over. While people are being upset about things, I have something to take your mind off of the Sorsby situation. Something else to be upset about. Have you guys seen the Scooby-Doo live remake that is coming to Netflix?
What?
Have you guys?
Another one?
Don't get excited. Don't get excited yet. I love Scooby-Doo. Almost all iterations of it besides that.
The second one was bad.
Well,
the second movie was bad.
I didn't have a... You're talking about the live action one?
Yeah.
No! On Spooky Island?
I need to revisit it then.
Oh, it was killer.
I just remember there being a significant drop-off between...
Hex Girls.
Yeah.
Scooby-Doo. Oh, it was incredible. Well, Scooby-Doo is coming to Netflix, and it is live action, and they will not have a CGI or AI Scooby-Doo. They have an actual dog playing Scooby-Doo, and I am upset with that.
How can the dog talk?
I guess it'll be like peanut butter on the roof of their mouth, like Mr. Ed or any of the other, but I think it's going to be poor. It's going to be poor. Scooby-Doo needs to be a mythical Great Dane-shaped dog.
Yeah, like cartoonish.
And in this, look, well, you'll see him in a second. You're watching the preview trailer now, and Shaggy, the casting, looks great. But we don't need a live-action real dog to play Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
It does not look like it's going to be...
Is it not a Great Dane?
No.
No, it's not.
No.
It's,
All right.
what kind of dog is that? It's
a pooch. Something that looks like
Scooby-Doo is a
Scrappy-Doo.
Great
It's like
Dane.
a puppy. It's a small dog.
It looks like Scrappy-Doo.
Scooby-Doo is a Great Dane.
Yes.
Yeah,
Some
man.
things we have to hold the line. We have to hold the line on Brendan Sorsby not being able to play college football in 2026. We have to hold the line that Scooby-Doo is a Great Dane.
Is that like a brown lab?
I think it is more closely related to a Weimaraner, is I think the type that you would call that, like a brown Weimaraner.
It's a series on Netflix.
Yes, I think it's going to be very poor. But
So
while we're
maybe the
talking
dog
about
gets
great...
older? Maybe it's a puppy to start out?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm between this and Toy Story 5, after they've already wrapped the story up twice perfectly. They didn't need Toy Story 4, and now it's like, oh, Woody and Buzz are fighting with an iPad. Like, that's so dumb. But while we're speaking about Great Danes, when would I be able to watch that Erling Haaland guy play?
Let's see. Norway opens up its campaign against Iraq June 16th.
All right, I'm ready to rock and roll with
Tuesday.
Erling Haaland. I'm going to try to give this a shot and be a soccer fan for you.
We still didn't answer him on Friday.
What?
Watch party.
Oh, y'all don't have to come.
No, I'll be there.
There will be hundreds of
Is there
people
food?
there. You will not be missed.
Is it cost money to get in?
No, it is totally free and open to the public.
Is there food?
There are food trucks, there are beverage vendors, and a big old screen right outside of Geodis Park in the Publix Plaza. I'll be emceeing the event.
Well, that sounds fun, which we learned is Master of Ceremonies.
Yes, we did learn that today.
We did learn something today. We did not bring it to air until the very end of the show.
But that's okay because we have polls to teach us other things.
No.
Oh.
Yes. What country would Borat like in the World Cup?
He's from Kazakhstan.
Yes.
The closest thing to that, Uzbekistan, is in this World Cup.
Okay.
Okay. Well, they probably don't like Uzbekistan. They are not the number one exporter of potassium.
I don't think the theme of Borat was they love their neighbors.
The chat is telling me that apparently that is a Great Dane puppy.
No. That does not look like a Great Dane puppy.
The polls brought to you by Two Rivers Ford, the most trusted dealer everywhere. Tennessee, Mississippi, North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida. Anywhere you go, you're not going to find a more trusted dealer than Two Rivers Ford.
Apparently it is. I just Googled a Great Dane puppy, and it is.
I don't like it.
Dang, they evolve a lot as they grow up.
Don't like it.
Evolve.
They change.
Like it's like some kind of mythical creature. It's
like a Pokemon.
Yeah.
Level 16.
We went a whole show without a Pokemon reference, and Lucas, in the final seconds, delivered us. That's going to do it for us today. Prime time tonight. See you later.